Hello, everyone, and welcome back.
Hey, buddy. It's me, your neighbor down below.
Coming for you, Tyruns!
Is the Gorionon a patriarchal kind of institution, or you being the eldest, you inheriting the throne?
A little less familiarity, please. And second of all, Indira, next to your sister, her next door neighbor. Watch out for her.
Bring back a 6-inch stick for me, please. Thank you.
Us? What the f? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tabletop Notch. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Last week was an exciting episode, but we welcome back Anthony to the table at NTC. We might have set a record last week for least amount of in-game time that actually passed as we delved into the memories of Annabel. That was probably like 30 minutes in the game.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
I can't remember. Maybe there was an episode.
I was gonna say there was some Graven shit where like time didn't pass
That's
at all.
true. Yeah.
It went like backwards and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Oh,
Or
shit.
yeah, I guess if you count combat episodes, because that could be like 5 minutes if the whole episode.
So
was
Cold
like,
Walker,
Cold Light Walker
Cold
is
Light
like-
Walker middle episode
yeah,
was
that was like 5 minutes, maybe.
5 minutes.
The longest 5 minutes
Of campaign
actual
2.
life.
Of
Of
campaign
campaign
2, yeah.
First
Of
episode.
campaign 2.
I will
Sure.
accept.
We are going to prison in earnest. We're already there, but we will be checking into our cells here at Fort Contrition in the coming moments, and we'll be seeing what TC's
Oh,
been
boy.
assigned to.
Oh, it's not gonna be good.
You're cleaning out the latrine. You didn't ever meet a single person.
Toothbrush on the floor.
But before we catch up with our characters, as always, a little bit of round the table, round the horn.
Welcome back. It's Sunday night. Thank you for being here with me and everyone else on twitch.tv/tabletopnotch. In between Sundays, though, there's other ways to watch and listen. Tuesdays, you might listen to a podcast. Fridays, you might watch a high-definition YouTube video. But there are lots of ways to reach deep inside and help us out. And if you do, you may get early access to that YouTube video on Mondays. You can get access to Notch and Sodas, like what's gonna happen next week.
Next
week.
if you're a
Indeed.
YouTube member or a Patreon subscriber or a Twitch subscriber.
It'll be our 10th Notch and Soda.
That's
really?
wild. Notch and Soda.
Not so.
So, join us for that.
Mother boy.
Mother boy. That's right. Yeah, so thank you for all those people. We know it is well known. Jordan reads every single comment. The rest of us, read many, many, many of the comments. So thank you for all of those lovely ones that you leave, and your likes and your shares, and send it to your friends. Do that stuff. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, while you're speaking of liking and sharing, in between those days that Anthony mentioned, you can check us out on social media of all kinds. We got funny videos posted, we got puzzles, we got really cute shit. Additionally, if you want to have stuff in between, maybe you want to wear or drink or one of the other options, carry your TTN merch so you can spread the gospel of Tabletop Notch. I suggest you do that. You know, today is Bastille Day, so if you want to give your special someone something for Bastille Day,
Our merch screams Bastille.
yeah, it really does.
It really does honor
Really does.
Bastille.
Yep. So get out there.
Have you ever wanted to be a part of something larger, of a community?
Bastille Day.
That would be discord.gg.
Buy a Bastille or aluminum cup today.
There you go. Go to discord.gg/tabletopnotch, where a lovely community talks all things D&D and Tabletop Notch, two of the most lovely things ever. It's a great place. And also, if you've never used Discord, it might seem daunting at first, but once you start using it, it's actually quite nifty. You can
So
see what you want to see, what you don't want to see. It's all good.
Well, there was some fan art posted today in the Discord.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
Steven
wait, I missed
posted.
it.
Steven posted a song.
yeah.
Oh, he posted the song!
Yeah.
There's
Heck,
a song.
Oh, yes, you gotta join the Discord to see the song. Steven.
Get in there
Thank you
before
for
it's on
reminding me.
Spotify.
Oh,
It's on
so freaking fun.
Coming to a music box near you in Brunkhollow.
Mhm.
Some places that you can also find Steven's music is on our Patreon. We just dropped our minis for last week's little baby characters, Suggs Buskin.
You were dying to know what Suggs Buskin looked like.
We were.
Oh man, I mean, once I saw that Hero Forge added a pair of pants where the knees are eagle heads, I was like, that's Suggs Buskin, baby, through and through. But
Did I see Grabbin in one of the battles?
He was
Grabbin-
there.
oh yeah,
he was in the
Grabbin-
town.
Grabbin's
100%.
everywhere.
Cleaning his bike or whatever.
Grabbin is all knowing.
All right.
But also, yes, next week we'll be doing Notch and Soda, which you'll get if you're a top-notch patron, and also all of our homebrew PDFs that Matt has worked really, really hard to do for like 2 years now. So feel free to peruse that. And
You get
enjoy.
all of it. You get
get all of it.
Yeah.
Not just this binder, but another one that's buried over there.
Another
that I
binder.
can't find.
Thick. But what?
You said it. She said it.
So, without further ado, I think it's time to run it down, and then we'll throw it over. So we got places to be,
That's
people
correct.
to talk to, things to infiltrate.
Here we go. Lord Lost resubscribed. The Random Twitch Guy resubscribed. Cool Shape for 500 bits. Golden Dagger 1,050 bits. Holy smokes. Mighty Mouse resubscribed. 10 of year. Silver Leaf resubscribed. 10 of year. Silver Leaf 3 streak. Solitaire resubscribed. Glowing Forever resubscribed. Hype Train. Soulkeeper resubscribed. Alley Slayer 100 bits. Armor Crocodile 2 community subs. Live Wanderers resubscribed. Probably Vine resubscribed. Incredier 15 streak. Teacup Does Art resubscribed. Redbeard 3 streak. Sebastian resubscribed. Almost there. Kiris resubscribed. Samstein 5 community subs. Thank you so much. Light Fighter resubscribed. Ivan resubscribed. Today Tree resubscribed. Hopeful Optimist resubscribed. Your Orb resubscribed. Ivan gave out 5 community subs. Thank you so much. Armor Crocodile 1 bit and then gifted a sub.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Y'all are really challenging my lung capacity. Thank you
Thank
so
you all
much.
so much. And we said it before, but we'll say it again now because it's if you were just gifted a sub, you are eligible to join Notch and Soda next week. So,
Yeah.
And watch all the other ones.
Yes, and you
They're
can
on
see
Twitch.
You can see them all.
Whoa,
You can see them all. All right, I think it is time to throw it over to the recap and then the intro, and then we will find ourselves within the walls of Fort Contrition. So without further ado, here we go.
Sorry, I gotta take this. Hello? Oh, Chad, it's your mom.
Previously on chapter 38. Oh. Previously on chapter 38, Away with Wards. The FCI offices were cleared out so Corliss Origander could give the 3 prospective prisoners a primer on their incarceration. The plan was risky but simple. Go to jail, sniff out who among the guards had a habit of bending the law, and if word of Marcel Rose surfaces, all the better. Afterwards, Corliss took his leave, and the party had a few minutes to prepare themselves before 2 officers arrived to process their admission. They were assigned to the westernmost Wren ward, which notably meant that Annabel would have to find pretense for visiting the Nightingale, the supposed chamber housing Haskell Pips. Speaking of Annabel, the fake crimes of her present triggered a memory of some genuine misdeeds of the past, a seminal moment in her association with the Thieves Guild as she helped Gabriel Hockney stage a destructive demonstration at the Church of Divine Mirth in Sargus. How was TC acclimating to a new line of employment that actually afforded him a bit of authority? And should everyone think twice before stuffing things down their pants in a place where privacy is no guarantee? Stick around and find out. Chapter 39, Brunkhollow. Just needed the touch.
No touching.
The next one to step into the changing room, if it can even be called that, is Illien. Nothing more than a sectioned off and sparsely furnished portion of this kind of pre-ward checkpoint, with a plethora of off-white shirts and trousers hanging over by the walls. The intake officer that you've been handed off to is equal parts methodical and indifferent, the face of a man who has processed hundreds of prisoners, and is less interested in ladder climbing than he is in simply earning a steady wage. Illien gets dressed and Doxley follows, and the three of you are subject to a few additional physical inspections that include things like opening your mouth and sticking out your tongue, the guards running fingers through your hair to check that nothing's been sort of stashed there. When this process is done, you're refitted with your manacles, and you're handed off to yet another escort in this operational chain. The person you're handed off to is a middle-aged dwarf, and he has an eye patch. He leads you through the tower's double doors, where you can finally get a look at the accommodations that are in store for you. Stone and iron abound as you step into the first corridor. A drab color palette accented by countless lamps and torches, which makes for a kind of dizzying spectacle that spirals upward along the walkways. There's an open column in the center, lined with railings and staircases. And it provides an easy way for guards who are on different levels to signal to each other. You can lean over the railings in the balconies, shout or signal to someone above or below. But many of the cells on the floors above the first here, the one that you're on, they also have like grating that faces in toward this area as well, so that if you look up, you can actually see dozens of pairs of hands kind of dangling out between the bars. It's like there's the door of the cell on one side that presumably opens in, and then another one on the other side that they can kind of lean or poke their hands through. Throw your monitors on for a second, because we are going to take a look inside. We looked at the exterior of this last week.
So cool.
So as we come through the doors here, as you guys come into, this is the first floor, and you can see there's like an open area in the center, and as we, continue to climb, that area remains open. So like here's the second floor, and there's kind of a courtyard in the middle, a little atrium there. And you can see that some of the cells, like I said, like here's the actual cell door, but then there's a grating on the backside that allows them to see into this open area in the middle. So some of them have their arms kind of draped out, foreheads leaning against the grating, so you can see like pairs of eyes, hands kind of sticking out there, because you guys, as you're being led, are kind of circling up the staircase here to the upper floors. So that's what we're kind of looking at.
Holy smoke.
It's almost more desirable to be up top, man. You get a better view.
Yeah.
As the dwarf leads you inside, he gets to the sort of foot of the staircase that spirals up here. Third floor. Don't stop, stare, or make no fuss. We've had some nonsense kick off the other day in the Eagle, so I can assure you that nobody is in the mood for any kind of shit. Keep to yourself, and you'll avoid a trip to the infirmary. Yeah?
Perfect.
Come on, then. He starts up the stairs. And you're all, in addition to, wrists and ankles, you're also connected by 2 lengths of chain. So the 3 of you are shackled together, more or less, with a couple feet in between you. For the most part, as you're walking, sound within the ward is limited to just quiet murmurs, some shuffling footsteps, the occasional rattling of chains or someone groaning on an upper floor. But as you start your ascent, there's also you hear some chuckling coming from here, a little bit of whistling coming from here from the floors above. Faces come up to the bars, and pairs of eyes kind of peer down at you from within. Everyone's circling around to see who the newest additions are to the warden's collection. You see people kind of sticking their hands out and watching you kind of move up the stairs. You go up 1 floor. As you guys are in sort of shackled, you look up, see all these different people forge on ahead. At one point, someone kind of makes a little bit of a whooping, like, hoo, 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 and someone bangs on the bars up there. Quiets down, and you continue upward. Jeez. When you get in there, You might find you have the temptation to pound on the walls, clang on the bars, start hollering. A lot of people can't come to terms with their confinement until they hear that key go click. And at that point, they feel the need to air a bit of dread, a bit of grievance. I think for both our sakes, it's best to fight the temptation. You'll be labeled as an agitator, just like that. And we keep things calm and civil at the Wren. Huh? My gods, they're not your friends. But we don't have to be your enemies, neither. Hey? It's a fact that ought to be kept in mind at all times.
Well, we chose to be here, so you shouldn't get any trouble from us.
I don't need your life story. Just say yes and keep walking.
Well, yes, sir, officer.
Turns and continues to walk. Now you're passing the second floor.
Annabelle's gonna yank Illien a little.
It's not much for talking.
One more loop, and you have these leering eyes following you along. You stop at an iron door that your escort kind of pounds on with a fist. And he shouts, "Officer Wells on 3!" And a slot that's kind of at roughly eye level opens and then closes again. And then the hefty door swings inward with a grinding noise as it slides against the floor. The two Clinkers, one at the opposite end of the door and Officer Wells, who's escorting you, they, exchange a glance, give a little nod to each other, and from here you start to move down a very dimly lit corridor that circles around now the outer perimeter, so you're no longer in view of that sort of big open atrium in the middle. With the open central column no longer visible, it's suddenly very stuffy in here. It's very bleak. And now when the inmates come up to their cell doors to get a look at you, they're no longer 10, 20, 30, 40 feet away. They're 2, 3 feet away as they come up to the bars, kind of peer through. Some of them sort of retreating back in after getting a look at you. Faces are worn and they're weary. And there's sometimes a little tinge of stir-crazy madness in their eyes that unsettles you a bit. People have been here for a little too long. Even if you have the good sense not to show those nerves, something inside you, just some of that kind of sense, that danger sense that you have within you as fighters, as people, as warriors, as good evaluators of people's character. Some people that you pass by sort of, you feel like you know what they're all about right away, and then sometimes you'll pass by someone else who just puts you on edge for whatever reason that you can't quite put a finger on. You pass by an elf with frizzy silver hair. Looks like it has clumps of it torn out. You pass by a woman with calloused hands, and she's breathing through her mouth because she looks to have kind of a broken or deformed nose that she can't quite breathe through. You pass by a stoic half-orc with a bowl cut, whose protruding lower teeth are stained blue. And this is just a sampling of the diverse population of prisoners that are housed here. You pass by another, another, and another. Their very despondent looks making you all the more thankful that you are only here on loan. You turn kind of to the first corner of the corridor here. Right. This is all of you right here. We got 1, 2, and then we skip 1, and then there's a third. Now, sorry there, big guy, but you've got the corner office, which means no view of the atrium. Now, it gets dark in there, but on the bright side, the prisoner before you liked to write little messages on the walls, so you'll have plenty to read to pass the time.
Lovely.
Once I close the door, you will stand with your back to the bars and I'll unshackle your wrists and your ankles. Get used to this process because anytime you come or go from your cell, you're going to repeat it. Now, another bit of advice that I have is not to make the guard's life difficult when the shackles come off or on. You put up a fuss, make sudden moves that put them on edge, or gods forbid, make a move to attack, you'll find yourself on the receiving end of many future beatings. Come on then. The first cell he comes up to is that one at the corner there. And as you peer in...
Sorry.
all of the cells,
Yeah.
all of the cells are rather dim, but this one in the corner specifically because it doesn't have those grating on the backside that leads in. It's very dark in here, sort of very bleak and dismal.
Wow.
And you hear the.
Goodbye, old life. It's been fun. All right, officer, I'm ready.
Step inside.
Yup.
Turn your back around so your back's facing the bars, and you. Hands out. You kind of stick them through the bars there. It takes a little bit of maneuvering. Yeah, you're doing it behind
Yeah.
because you're facing, and you hear the kind of pin comes out.
Oh, that feels better on the wrists. Get the blood circulating again.
Come on. Now he walks the two of you that are remaining past one cell. So it was one and then a skip and then two more there. So there's another prisoner between Annabel and Doxley and Illien. So, but Doxley and Annabel are side by side here.
What does this prisoner between us all look like?
Give me a perception check.
Oh!
Sure, yeah, you may.
7.
7.
Ooh, 18 plus 7.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Doxley, you're able to see that it is a gnomish woman, but you don't discern a lot of detail other than that. She's not up at the bars. She's a little bit further back in the cell.
Okay.
And then as you pass by, she hears the rattling of chains as you're walking by and kind of turns a little bit. So Annabel gets a slightly better look at her as you're moving by. This gnomish woman has very short, kind of side-parted brown hair and a thin ring of tattoos around her neck that, at first glance, it looks like she's wearing like a choker necklace, but it's not. It's actually tattoos on her skin there. And you can see that she's sort of huddled in the back there, she's kind of touching at her neck, and she looks over. And she didn't come up to the bars to kind of get a look, but she's watching you guys as you kind of pass by there. So a diminutive, sort of gnomish figure huddled in the corner there, kind of by the grating on the backside.
Okay.
Is she?
I will leave that for you to
No,
decide.
so she is.
Okay, cool.
Walk a little further, and he
We'll enter the cell.
goes between you and he unhooks a little hook that then Annabelle's no longer attached to that same sort of chain link. Go inside.
Doxley's gonna be making severe eye contact with everybody across the atrium if they're looking at
Yeah, it because it's graded, it's not bars. Like,
Okay.
unless you walk all the way up to it, it's hard
It's
to see
harder.
into the other ones. but if you peek out there, you can see other people again who have their hands kind of through the little square-shaped slots and stuff. They're kind of trying to get a look. So you can peer around at them in general. And as soon as the pin kind of pops free, your hands are loose. Kind of look around. And you?
Guys are never getting out of here.
We're fucking
Here
screwed.
forever.
Same. You all arrived too late for lunch, so grub won't come till evening. May the gods guide you to an uneventful stay. You hear him, and he's kind of dragging the chains down the hall there. Goes around the corner, and then finally gets a little quieter and quieter. And you're left here in your cells. And these cells that you've stepped into are very desolate, very dreary. There's a straw cot, a pillow, and a piss pot that makes up the entirety of their contents. And for Annabel and Doxley, the graded rear wall affords you now the flip side view of what you saw on your way up. The ability to kind of peer in toward that spiraling staircase, glancing out at the other cells that sort of boast the same features here. Now for Illien, it's even more isolated. The stone muffles sound substantially, so there's nothing kind of here to keep you company but the chicken scratch on the walls. It looks like it's written in some kind of dwarvish script. Do you speak dwarvish?
I don't believe so.
Damn, boy.
I mean, it doesn't, it looks like, even without being able to speak it, it looks like several words are repeated over and over.
Okay.
Like, it seems like someone, because they had no one to talk to, they were just scratching on the walls here. So they're just like kind of writing all over the walls over where the bed is there. In addition, everybody give me perception checks.
Okay.
Just for funsies.
Oh!
I won't even say. You know what it is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch. 18.
15.
10.
Okay. You're all able to see as you kind of step in, and it's a little harder for Illien just because it's darker in his cell, that the pillow looks a little lumpy. The pillow that's sort of lying on your straw cot there. And as you sort of take one more check around, you go over and you lift the pillow, and underneath it are a few items that had been procured.
Good.
Our boy
Ahead of
is
time.
coming through. Good old Merwin.
For each of you, there's a small pouch containing, I think it was like a half pound of tobacco or something, maybe a little less than that. There's a deck of playing cards for everybody. There's a pair of dice for everybody. There's 7 or 8 ether cigarettes, blue pre-rolled cigarettes there. But very notably, the basilisk urine and the spices are not there. And one person, Annabel, yours has a note in it as well, a very short note that's sort of explanatory. You can read it if you want. It's not like a big scene.
Didn't want the vials to break or the spices to spill in transit. I'll find a way to get those to you later.
Yeah, so those were in sort of more delicate jars and things that could have been tougher to get in, without jostling something. So
Is my pouch of material?
it is not. That is not there.
Oh.
So just some early smaller items that he was able to sort of sneak in here upon your arrival.
What's the toilet wine version of like spell components?
Like that has a chance of blowing up in your face.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So you're kind of milling about, and for Doxley and Annabel, you could, like, if you went up to the bars, you could kind of peek and talk to each other. There's a pretty thick wall between each cell, so you wouldn't be able to, like, whisper so quietly that no one could tell you were whispering, but you could have a quiet conversation. For Illien, you would really have to kind of, not shout, but talk at a regular / louder volume to be able to communicate.
What is?
From what-
Tyrun's in the house.
Not only the walls, but there's a whole cell. Like
Yes, yes, there's a whole cell between them. But,
What's up,
just
Red
to,
Boy?
Can I?
Corner there.
Okay.
ooh, very curly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Could have
Just a little visual. There's one there that you want to know that
Question
in.
mark.
Docs.
Gnomish bitch.
Sexy question mark.
Is there somebody on the, like, can I reach my head out and see if somebody's on the other side of me?
Give me a perception check.
Oh, I see. So, like, that side and that side are just brick walls for me, like stone walls.
Yes, because this is the corner there.
And
so,
there's that
yes,
thing.
and
I see. So that's why
put-
it's dank as hell.
Not that good. That's just a 10.
Okay, 1 second, and then can I switch this over? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I got you.
So. No, we're just a little
It's inverted.
little visualization of the sort of
Yeah,
side
you're
here.
inverted.
So Illien's
All's
there on the
inverted.
corner, which makes it so he doesn't have. This is where the inner sort of courtyard is. So Illien does not have a wall that connects with that. Doxley and Annabel both do. There's someone between them. There's someone on. There's another cell on Annabel's other side. She doesn't know if someone's in there. And then Illien, there is someone. You passed by someone on the opposite side there as well as you were walking. Yeah, you came in this way. So.
Okay.
Can I, now that I have time, can I take a peek at this thing?
You can.
Does it look like the courtyard that we're looking at? Or
The layout's definitely different than that.
Yeah.
But it looks, the rooms are sort of uniform in their shape and stuff that they certainly could be some kind of cells or something. But if you were picturing what you've seen so far as you've been circling around, it doesn't match that. It doesn't seem like a floor of this ward or something, if
Okay.
that's what you were, thinking about.
Yep.
With a 10 perception, you're able to tell that the cell next to you, you could hear a little bit of shuffling, and you're not sure if it's coming from the cell directly next to you or then the next one over. So, there's other people on the floor, but you didn't see definitive evidence that there is someone occupying the next cell over from where you are.
Cool.
And it all of a sudden gets very, very quiet. Sort of squeaking, rattling. You can hear some people kind of moving around. feel the need to kind of move a little bit, even in the confined space that you're in. What would you like to do?
Illien is going to take the contents from under the pillow and stuff them into the straw bed.
Sure.
And then lay in bed and close his eyes.
Feel the kind of rough straw.
King Suite, all privacy. Amazing.
You saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh! You say that in the cell there?
What?
Give me a perception check.
What? Wait, what? We're already getting into some weird shit?
The
Come on.
talking mouse in the corner.
Okay, 17.
17. As you're lying there, little mutterings to yourself just to try and kind of calm your nerves, get yourself set. You know that you're sort of here for a purpose. You're going to see to it as best you can. And you hear what sounds like a little bit of like... like a muffled speaking. And when you open your eyes, it doesn't sound like it's coming like through the wall on one side or the other side.
What?
And you can't quite sort of pinpoint where it's coming from.
I'm gonna head over to the toilet. Do I hear it clear on the toilet?
Not a toilet.
The spot.
Yeah, oh, it's a bowl. Oh,
It's over the lid.
okay. Never mind.
I like
Well,
the
actually, is it like
It's not an American standard, bro.
no bidet?
Illien's talking to his piss pot. He's like, I'm already losing my fucking mind.
Okay, in that case, I'm
Yes, piss pot.
Yes. I'll nudge the pot and see if there's anything
boy.
under it or.
Give me an investigation check.
Okay.
Holy fuck, that was funny. Oh my god.
Okay. Investigation. That's gonna be 19.
19. You sort of lift that up because it's one of the only objects in the room. You don't see anything, and you kind of place it back down. And you're in that corner where the piss pot was, and there's nothing sort of out of the ordinary about it, but you scan the bars of your cell, your eyes drift up to the ceiling, and into the corner of the room, kind of directly over the piss pot. And it's so dim in here that it's hard to make out, but you look up, and you think that there's like a thin pipe that leads kind of up to the next floor up. Like directly, like all you see is a little circle, but it's got like, it has a little bit of light catches the metallic kind of rim of the pipe there.
How tall are the ceilings in here?
You could like jump and touch it, like probably, 8 feet or.
I'm gonna walk
9 feet.
over to the cell door. Take a quick scan. Do I see anything? Like any guards or anything nearby?
No.
Oh my god.
And the piss pot hasn't been used, so I'm gonna go over to it, turn it upside down, stand on it, and I'm gonna go. I'm put my ear up to it first, see if I hear anything. I'm gonna say, "Hey, buddy, it's me, your neighbor down below."
And again, you hear like a little.
Speak up a little bit.
As you sort of say that and you listen, you look up and you think you can make out that something might have been jammed in the pipe that's like
Oh.
preventing some of the sound from traveling
I
there.
see. Is it like?
Open your mouth and just.
Is it? If I like reach a finger and is it that jammed that I can't like get something out?
Oh my.
Give me an athletics check.
Oh my.
Give me an
God.
acrobatics check, because what you're actually doing is you're standing like on one foot on the piss pot, reaching up.
Give me a fingy check.
19 again.
Oh my gosh,
19.
let's go.
With one foot like toe on the piss pot.
Oh my god.
Your finger reaches up into the pipe and you can feel like a piece of rock or something that's been jammed into it to kind of prevent it. It like it's not so jammed that like it doesn't give at all. Like you can feel it wiggle a little bit, but it's in there. It's not like so loose that it's easy to sort of get out.
Right. Let me stew on that. I'm coming back for you. Just, I don't know if you can even hear me. And I'm gonna get off the pot and think about how I can deal with that.
Okay. Move it over to the other cell. Doxley and Annabel, what do you do? Even if it's just flavor, what's
Yeah.
going through their heads? What are you doing in here as you get into yourself?
Annabelle's gonna sit there and try to study this thing and see if, like, her visualizing the outside, figure out what building it might belong to. And she's also gonna hide all of the stuff that was in her pillow in her straw
Like in the mattress? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do so. Mattress is, it's low quality straw, but it's thick enough to be able to kind of jam a few very small items into it pretty easily without.
And yeah, she's just gonna study that and sort of plot in her head all the various ways she might be able to get into the fucking Nightingale Orchard.
Just sort of sit there, thinking, listening. You can hear some people kind of on upper floors. Quiet up there! You're surprised by how quiet the place is. Like, there's little sounds here and there, but the guards keep it kind of pretty low-key in here as best they can to prevent any kind of sort of momentum building, sort of raucous energy amongst the prisoners here.
Do I see any guards pacing the floor?
Like the floor that you guys are on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll say during this process, at least one person had kind of gone by behind the guy that was leading you into your cell. So someone walks the floors.
Could I attempt to time how quickly, like, try to keep track in my head?
Sure, give me an intelligence check. Just a straight intelligence check.
Okay, what do I add to that?
Just your
Just my
intelligence
modifier?
modifier, yeah.
Okay.
Can you count?
That's a 14.
14. You sort of think about when that person passed by last, and then you wait. And you try and like tune out all the other sounds just to listen for footsteps. Turn around, you see someone peeking into the cells as they go by. Moving down. It seems like it was a couple minutes, 2 minutes. So they went by. 2 minutes go by, and then come by in the other direction.
Oh.
Same person. So they went by, and then they circled back the other way. Same person.
Okay. Cool.
Doctor?
Doxley's gonna sit cross-legged on the floor, like looking out over the grate. And just every few minutes, just instinctively, she's gonna reach for a flask that's not there. Shit. God, I'm thirsty. Fuck. After a couple minutes of just listening and hooping and hollering and stuff, she'll get up, go to the grate, grab it with her hands. The Tyruns are here!
Annabelle hears that and literally puts her fucking face in her hand.
And there's like kind of a brief pause after that, and then you hear a little woo woo! Ha ha! Coming for you, Tyruns!
Illien's gonna run to the gate.
Those were all different sort of spots there. You don't have one. I mean, you can go up to the bars of your cell, but you don't have a grate facing the
That's
sort of
right.
courtyard there.
I'll just smile.
Coming for you, baby.
Just like the ducks. Back down.
There's a little more. Some people kind of whistle, and then again you hear some of that like. Shut up! Knock it off! Gets a little quiet.
Let's do this.
After an awkwardly silent walk with Gideon, during which he seemed very determined not to further discuss the events of the night prior, you parted ways at a small building just outside the walls of Fort Contrition itself, so within Little Hollow, but not within the walls of the actual prison.
Oh, I'm not with him anymore?
He sort of walked you there and then
okay.
dropped you off.
Okay.
Unsupervised.
Inside that building, you discovered a cramped kind of like a lounge or a mess hall, a few tables. There is kind of a little bar area, has a very sort of meager selection. You see that there's several off-duty clinkers that are in here. They have their gray jackets kind of draped over the backs of chairs while they enjoy some maybe discounted ale at the hands of this sort of tiefling bartender who's behind the counter. Afterwards, you were introduced to a man that called himself Demetrius Gardner, and his title was Operations Manager. Gideon actually sort of handed you off to him. He introduced himself as Operations Manager Gardner. And upon following this man into a little sort of back office area, filled with stacks of paper that actually stood taller than his diminutive halfling frame, he ran through the basics of what would be expected of you at the prison. It was a little kind of nice, you thought, to escape into this fantasy of new employment, even if you knew it would be short-lived, both in terms of a little taste of authority and at the same time the weight of what your sort of actual employment is, sort of just letting that go even into play pretend ever so slightly. Had a little bit of appeal.
Out of nowhere. Yes.
Gideon had provided for you, and gave this to Mr. Gardner, a fabricated letter of recommendation and a transfer notice from the PCD, which is the Piran Coastal Detention Center. Which is the larger of 2 lockups in Piran, in the city. There's 2, and that's the bigger one. This form that he gave sort of granted you eligibility for an actual post within one of the wards, rather than starting from the very bottom with something like patrol duty upon detention pass.
Yeah.
That's a very sort of low-rung job to just walk the detention pass trail. So this allowed you to get a sort of an actual job within the prison itself. Operations Manager Gardner explained that despite the reference, you would still be assigned a partner with whom you would make most of your rounds, at least for a little while you adjusted to how they do things here.
Okay.
He went into a closet and pulled out for you a spiffy new set of greens and grays.
Oh boy!
My uni.
And you were then introduced to Officer Cletus Fleck. Officer Fleck. Your aforementioned partner. And he's a half-elven man of abnormal height. He's at least 6'6", but rail thin. Someone who could peek into a second-story window, but might blow away in a light breeze. Like, he has sort of a comically slender figure to him. The 2 of you, a very mismatched pair if there ever was one, are now walking through the prison yard here. And you're walking toward the Western Wren Ward, where Officer Fleck currently makes his rounds. Now, as you do, he gestures to a few different kind of points of interest around the yard. He'll point, he'll sort of describe a couple things.
This is Fleck or this?
This is Fleck, yes. You
okay.
parted with ways with Mr. Gardner, with Operations Manager Gardner. As he gestures to the points of interest, he explains their significance, and curiously, sometimes he uses very precise sort of estimates of distance. He'll say, like, that building over there, that's 330 feet away. He seems to have kind of a mind.
Nerd alert.
He has a little bit of a mind for numbers. Like, he'll describe it in that way.
Poor guy's just loving his job, man.
Nerd.
So as you're walking through the yard, he's kind of pointing things out here
These
and
are
there.
like the cool guards hang out.
Where do you find yourself? So I don't go there. Officer Fleck.
Okay.
So as he's pointing, he describes, and right now he's sort of pointing off in the direction of, I described this in the last one, but there's sort of a recreation yard where there was a couple like nets set up and things where, you know, a field where some prisoners might be let out. Now, as you can see, there's a few recreation zones where the less violent or better behaved inmates are given an opportunity to stretch their legs somewhere other than in the downwheeled mines. Now, you're not going to see anybody out here until the warden gives the okay, because the riot the other day sort of put a pause on those privileges.
Right.
Yeah, the Eagle Ward had a bit of a dust-up.
Any casualties?
No casualties, but a number of injuries, including to some of our own.
Wow. I can't imagine that's a regular occurrence.
It's not. First since I've been here.
Wow.
Now, because of that, we'll be pretty exclusively indoor cats beyond labor assignments. 6 floors at the Wren Ward, but one's just the offices on the first floor, so we got 5 to patrol. And you make a loop one way, then you go back in the opposite direction, then on to the next floor. Now, about 97% of the time, there's nothing to it. You see somebody in a corner or with their back turned like they're trying to hide something, you give a bang on the bars. And you'll be issued a club, a short blade, and a hand crossbow. You ever used one of those before?
Once or twice.
Now, don't stick your hands through the bars of any cells, and don't be a hero. If something doesn't smell right, you yell for backup first before we open any doors. There's always a few officers on call for emergencies. The signal whistles that they'll give you are loud. They'll hear them no matter what floor you're on. So you give that a blow, you wait for backup, and then you go in.
Gotcha. How many of us at any given time on a ward?
Well, there'll be at least one patrol for the floor, although you and me will be together, so 2, whatever floor we're patrolling. In addition to that, there's someone who watches the door on each floor, and then there's sort of the overall officer on duty. So, I mean, at any given time, there might be 15 to 20 people.
Oh my.
Wow, your numbers are quite swollen here.
Prison of this size requires a workforce to match.
Right.
Now, talking to the prisoners isn't prohibited. Like, you can answer a question and so forth, but I'd avoid prolonged discussions. For optics as much as anything else. You don't want to get a reputation for being cozy with them or soft on them. Those kinds of reputations can be hard to shake.
Imagine.
At the end of your shift, you submit a report and try to be specific. Anything that stood out as unusual. If a prisoner was kind of wound up. If something new appears in a cell that looks like it might have been smuggled in. If someone's got an injury that may have been self-inflicted. You know, anything that sets off your senses. More is fine. They'll ignore whatever they want to ignore, but no detail goes unnoticed.
All right. Any particular presiding officer that we report to on this particular ward?
For this week at least, it's going to be Officer Emmanuel Wells.
All right.
Dwarven man, he's got an eye patch, you'll recognize him.
Smells. But just for this week, this is not his ward.
They rotate people, but when they're short-staffed, they find that people end up in the same place over and over. I would say that you'll probably get to know Wells pretty well.
All right. Welly well, then.
Yeah, I guess. And now, today, we've got an afternoon shift heading up to Plover Pointe to turn out some silver. That's one of the mining operations that we have here. And normally, we wouldn't have a tenderfoot tag along, but a couple of our guys, like I said, they got hurt in the scuffle over at the Eagle. So it's good practice to see how the process works. We're going to grab 10 bodies from the Wren, 10 bodies from the Sparrow, and we're going to head out there maybe in an hour or so.
All right. Get limber.
It's a little bit of a walk and then a little bit of a climb, so I'd be ready for a tiring afternoon, probably.
TC's already doing a little bit of like some side bends and stuff. It's a good idea. You don't want to go out there cold. You want to be nice and warm.
Thanks. So like I said, we're going to head to the Wren, and then we'll start doing some rounds on a couple of the floors so you can get a look at the prisoners.
All right.
Familiarize yourself with a few of the different faces. You know, like I said, the reports should include anything that seems out of the ordinary. Now, to know what's out of the ordinary, you have to know what is ordinary.
Right.
Some of the prisoners are a little high-strung all the time, so if they seem high-strung, maybe not something to report. But one of the calmer ones banging on the bars or hollering, maybe that's something worth putting down.
Any problem children that I should be looking out for first thing?
I guess there's a few I can think of off the bat. On the 3rd floor, we've got Porfirio Devror.
Jesus.
Porfirio.
Porfirio, P-O-R.
Profiterole.
Porfirio, P-O-R-F-I-R-I-O, and Devore, D-E-V-O-R-E. Porfirio Devror, now, he's a younger elven man. Kind of gives off a moody energy. He's got long black hair, lets it drape in front of his face, piercings along his ears. He's got this habit of always lifting his chin, so it's like he's looking down on you. Doesn't really work with me so much.
I can see that. They don't take things such as earrings from.
Not if they deem it safe for keeping. If they have smaller ends, something that you couldn't stick in somebody if you tried.
Right.
Now, if there was ever an incident where he tried to hurt somebody, they'd probably take him from him.
All right. So nothing so bad. So far.
Nothing on the inside so far. Porfirio's known as a bit of a blackmail artist. Back in Peron, he would stalk figures of importance, wealthy people, and try and coerce them into giving him money in exchange for maybe not revealing certain details about their lifestyle. Now, here on the inside, a couple times he's tried to get away with planting things on guards. A couple vials of poison, maybe get them in trouble, get him kicked off the block. So, stay away from his cell, because he might try to slip something in your pocket.
Oof. Wow. Noted. Oh, excuse me.
Another one I can think of is Temeth Havak. Temeth. Temeth Havak. Havak.
So sexy.
He's on the
I feel like I could see him.
He's on the 4th floor, and a bit of a troublemaker and also kind of a serial liar, serving a life sentence. Seems to be kind of using chaos and sowing discontent as a way to amuse himself during his indefinite stay.
Wow. Sounds like you had people like this on the Eagle ward, starting fights and things. Is that how the riot got started?
The riot got started because an escape attempt got botched.
Oh.
They tried to slip out through a hole that they were digging through one of the laundry centers. And turned out they couldn't get out fast enough. Guards caught them. And they beat them pretty good.
I bet.
I don't think anybody's died yet, but there's a few still down in the infirmary recovering.
But the rest of the inmates turned on the guards after that.
When the guards started beating them, some other guys came to their defense, turned into a bigger thing.
I take pride in keeping things as they are supposed to be, but is that often that guards go in on a number of inmates like that?
I would say it's pretty rare in my experience.
Huh.
I think the last one I can think of is Claire Aloya. Claire, regular, and then Aloya, Aloya. And now Claire's got what seems like a history with every other prisoner in the place. She's always getting into fistfights. She's also very erratic. It's led some people to believe that, I don't know, maybe she perceives insults even where there are none. Like some people even think she's hearing voices in her head.
Right.
So something will set her off and you won't even know what it was. She's up on the 5th floor. Those are a few names that I'd keep an eye out for, and the rest you'll learn as you go.
Definitely. Thank you.
And at this point, you've kind of gotten up to, and you know, we looked at this. Let's put this back. You guys have now gotten to where they were before, which is this sort of little checkpoint intake area here in this little kind of courtyard before you get into the prison itself. So you've passed kind of through the main part of the prison yard, and you're up to that at this point. Any other questions before we head inside?
I guess, you say that like Officer Wells gets rotated, and some of us every once in a while as well. Is that something that happens with inmates? Do they rotate them between?
Inmate usually stays put unless a problem comes up.
Right.
You can't put two people next to each other because of the fuss that they make. They might separate them. Right. Sometimes if the warden or one of the ward shifts learns of some kind of gang association, you might try and split them up into different wards so they don't team up on somebody.
Right. I guess what I'm getting at is that, is there anybody here from the Eagle that might have been part of that ruckus?
I don't think anybody's been transferred from the Eagle yet. Eagle's been on lockdown pretty hard. They've got more guards over there than they usually do just to make sure that nothing comes up.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes over from there in the next few days.
Right.
We have a few openings here at the Wren because a bit of gnawing plague went through. Vermin-borne disease. Yeah, it's typically not deadly, but it's a vermin rat-borne disease that people get sort of very sick, and one of the main things about it is it totally kills your appetite, and people lose like tons of weight, and especially if kind of left untreated, it can get dangerous. You can lose a dangerous amount of weight, sort of, because you can't sort of stomach food or liquid. So the gnawing plague.
Yikes! That's I hope I won't find things that dirty in here.
Sometimes it's not a matter of cleanliness so much as Wrong mouse slips in at the wrong time. One person gets sick and it spreads. We get a lot of prisoners that cry for medical attention when they don't need it. That's part of the problem. Sometimes those cries get ignored when they shouldn't. Makes something spread.
Fair. Where's the infirmary? How close is the infirmary to here?
There's one in each ward, and
Okay.
it's on the first floor along with the other offices. There's no prisoners on the first floor. That's all. There's a break room for the officers, a couple other sort of rooms for the higher ups, and then the infirmary's there as well.
And we have a dedicated doctor in that area?
There's 2 that rotate between the 4 wards. I mean, there's some other staff that at least has some basic medical knowledge, but then we have 2 doctors.
Can't say as I've patched up that many others, but I've done a little bit on myself here and there.
I'll keep that in mind in case something comes up.
I mean,
That's all right. I'm not technically a superior.
but you are burdened with me, as it were.
I guess so.
Were you not partnered up before I was here?
First time.
And you weren't when you first got here?
I was not. I served a very similar post back home, so I was slotted in rather easily.
Excellent. Back home, what's that?
On.
How long you been here?
3 months, 14 days.
It's an interesting area. People you hear a lot of stories.
Yeah. It's not so bad. It can be boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with the riots.
Well, sometimes you hope it's boring.
Right.
But we try to get by. It's strange, back when it was first posted, it was a pretty big honor to come out here to Fort Contrition. Now it sort of has a weird reputation about it. I got some people back home who are asking me to transfer back. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
I only hope to not be too much of a burden.
I don't think so. You from Piran as well? Most people who get transferred and don't have to work the beat, usually coming from one of the bigger prisons. Say, well, Piran. All right. All right, Officer Welker, let's go.
Officer Welker?
Passes.
God, he fucking loves that.
Oh.
Where'd you get that badge?
Wow. Oh,
Stepping
get my
through the
hands
door.
dirty.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be reaching in every cell.
As you head inside, and I'm going to bring it up once more as well, so we sort of get a little visual here. As you sort of head inside here into the first floor. He walks you and he sort of points out a couple. Again, there's some sort of offices. There's some holding stations for prisoners that maybe they don't have a cell for yet. That's kind of what's over on this side. Just some like holding areas. There's some like storage for goods and things as well. And there's some offices over here, sort of for record keeping here at the, he sort of walks you briefly through these, points out a couple of these things. In addition, before he kind of takes you upstairs, he points down toward like the lower level, which is sort of the sub-level, which he didn't sort of include in the sort of describing the 6 floors of the building here. He points down there at one point, and hopefully you'll never have to take a prisoner down there. But we'll get to that if it happens.
To the infirmary, you mean?
No, we're on the level with the infirmary. I'm talking about the floor below.
And what do we call that?
We don't call it anything.
Sub-basement?
We call it the bottom floor.
Gotcha. That's for the really troublesome ones.
Yeah, I guess.
Have you ever been down there?
Not while anyone else was down there, but to pick up some furniture and bring it up per orders.
I see.
Furniture that had a new coat of paint on it.
Right. And do we have any co-workers here that seem to always be making trips down there?
I wouldn't say always.
More often.
I guess there's a couple that are...
A little more prolific.
I guess. Sort of looks around. It's quiet in here, so he gets a little closer. It's Officer Best Destiny. That's the first name and last. So it's Officer Destiny, and her name's Bess.
Oh, Bess.
Oh my God, best.
Best Destiny.
Best.
Best
Best Destiny.
Best Destiny.
Officer
Ooh.
Destiny. And she didn't used to be someone you had to keep an eye out for, but a month and a half ago, somebody poisoned her food. And since then, she's been a little paranoid. Now, she's lashed out at both prisoners and officers because they never actually found out who did it.
Right.
And there was sort of a controversial moment in the Downwield where she shot a prisoner with her crossbow. She claimed that they were trying to make an escape attempt, but nobody else really corroborated what she saw.
I imagine she feels like she was meting out some kind of justice.
Possibly. There's another one, Officer Pent, P-E-N-T. I don't really know. He's kind of quiet, a little mysterious. He pretty much just avoids conversation unless it's required of him or you ask him directly. Some members of the staff think that there's just something off about him, you know, something you can't put your finger on. He'll sometimes be seen walking the battlements of Fort Contrition even when it's not his shift. Some people kind of think that's suspicious.
Yeah, I like my rest and relaxation time. I don't know about you.
Not a lot of people offering time without getting paid for it.
Right.
Those two, and then, later today you'll probably meet Philip Garland, Officer Garland, G-A-R-Y-L-Y-N. No, yeah, G-A-R-L-Y-N, Garland. Garland's a very frequent escort for our labor assignments out into the Downwields. He actually may be heading the mission out to Plover Point later today. He's strict, and he's quick to reach for his club. I wouldn't say for no reason at all, but a quick trigger finger.
Gotcha.
You might find yourself on his bad side if you look like you're fraternizing with the prisoners too much.
All right.
Some of these guys trying to pass the time, they're just trying to have a conversation. I wouldn't do that around him. Keep it business.
Yeah. He seems to really revel in the class distinction, as it were.
I guess. I think he also just, seems to always think that somebody's up to something. So,
It's good to be on your toes.
I guess maybe you two will get along.
But it'll be at least the three of us and a few others overseeing the prisoners going out to do the work.
Oh yeah, there will be a group of us. We never go out with at least half a dozen, maybe even more. Prisoners will be chained up and chained together, but when they get up to the mine, they will be separated. The shackles will remain, but they won't be attached to each other.
Right. I mean, the Downwield, I hear, can be a bit of a dangerous place, yes?
Can indeed.
We'll have hand crossbows and such, but
We definitely will.
what about the prisoners? We don't give them nothing, huh?
They got pickaxes mostly.
I guess that'll do in a pinch.
They knew the risks, mostly.
They volunteer for the work, usually.
Most of the ones that go out on labor assignments are ones that have volunteered to get a reduction in their sentence. So,
Right.
risk reward, I guess.
These usually go to plan, as in your
For the most part, yeah.
experience?
The toughest assignments are the ones that are the first, sort of the vanguard, and first group to start mining out a new location.
Right.
We have a number of places that we've been to dozens of times over, and those ones we don't think much about at all, and you don't really run into any problems.
Where's this on the new to old list?
Somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Here, I'll take you up to the second floor.
Thank you.
And as they're walking up the floor, Doxley is sort of over by the grating there. You can look down and you
boy.
see TC flashing the greens and grays there. You could hear then that they were talking quietly kind of to each other, but you could hear that they were having a conversation. You can see them kind of down there.
Yeah, sorry.
No, was there something?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
You come in, your first floor is infirmary, there's no cells there. The
Yeah,
cells are
the first floor is a bunch of things. Offices, infirmary, holding stations, but no cells.
And we're currently going from one.
You just circled up to the second floor,
To
yes,
two,
which now has cells. And from what you can see, you sort of looking up, the layout of the non-first floor are pretty similar. They're all kind of just a sort of circle of cells around sort of the central courtyard there.
All right.
You know, the second floor. He sort of gives a fleck on 2, and there's door kind of opens up. Some motions in, and the 2 of you kind of start your patrol. And it's sort of a slow, meandering thing. He sort of talks to you as you go. You don't have to rush it. You know, take a good look into each cell. Just make sure nobody's doing anything. Sort of gives a look in. He like gives a brief pause each time. He'll get to a new cell, just sort of pause, look. Few more steps, sort of a relaxed kind of, there's like a rhythm to it, the sort of walk, pause. A couple of the prisoners, some of them don't acknowledge him at all. Some of them will kind of come up to the bars and sort of give a nod or something. And then a couple of them, even one that's kind of, someone's like reading a little book kind of over by his piss pot there. Fleck.
Fuck that guy.
He continues to kind of read his book
Love
there.
that guy.
Wow. So we were still on the second floor.
Yeah,
here,
you're still sort of
and we were,
on the
like
second
walking
floor.
together. Okay.
Yeah. Walk. You get all the way. So you do kind of a little like horseshoe-shaped patrol, and you get to the end. And at the end there's a couple torches on the wall, and he just kind of leans up against the wall. I just try to wait here for a moment. Try to vary it up a little bit. Don't wait for the same amount of time each time. And then you circle back in the other direction. Just make sure you didn't miss something, you know, on a wall that you didn't see the first time.
Right.
And when you're done, you head up to the next floor.
All right. Up and down.
Gets up off the wall, starts back in the other direction. Fleck.
Oh my god, I fucking love that guy.
I want to take a look in that cell. I mean,
Give me a perception.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah, we gotta meet this guy. We gotta meet this guy.
Oh my.
Oh no, Anthony!
Natural 1.
Natural 1. Yeah. He's sitting in like sort of. He is in like Illien, although you don't know this, in one of the corner cells. So he doesn't have the light coming in from the central courtyard. So it's hard to see into the cell there. So it's very dim. The only thing you notice is, in addition to the one he's reading, he's got 2 or 3 other books sort of sitting beside him. So whether they've been obtained in an appropriate way or whether they've been kind of smuggled in, you know, you're not entirely sure.
Right, right.
But you do notice that as you go by.
All right. I'll wait as we're still on the walk here. Yeah.
As you continue on.
And so the idea being we finish that walk and then we go to the stairs.
Yep. And then you go back to the staircase. So then you go back into that open center, up the stairs to the next floor. Same thing.
Maybe just in between floors or something when I know that we're not like right in front of it. I'm like, it's not a library in this joint, is there?
No.
So good behavior gets you reading material?
I don't think it was handed to him by a guard, but if it's an item that doesn't seem like it's going to cause a problem, we mostly look the other way.
Fair enough.
You know, we try not to let anybody get too comfortable, but for contrition also, it's tough to replace officers out here.
Right.
So we probably don't have as many as we'd like, but we also try not to start problems where there aren't problems, because even if a guard gets hurt, can't make their rounds, you gotta send for somebody from Paran, Saywal, and Ezia. Could be weeks.
Nice. Wow.
So,
All right.
nobody should be stuffing their cells filled with shit, but 1 or 2 items.
And if you're here long enough, obviously you get to know who might bring you something.
I guess. I wouldn't know.
Does that seem true?
Let's get this
I wanted to
going.
I wanted to let him do his thing for a while.
He's like,
I would know.
Girl, I would have
I wouldn't know. He pulls a book out of it.
Mr. Welker.
There we go. 22.
22. It seems like there's something more there. That he's not
Okay,
that.
okay.
He's not giving you like a little like I could get you something,
Right.
but a little like
But he said I wouldn't know.
who might do. Yeah. So like even if it's like maybe he heard a rumor or something like there was a little.
It certainly doesn't seem like he is doing any
does
smuggling.
not, no.
But he could have the.
I mean, and again,
inkling
having
of a
talked
rumor.
to him, he knows the people here pretty well. Like, yes, even if it's just someone, like you said, a little whisper in the wind that someone a passing mention.
He has the info.
Oh, he has the information. How do I get Orn in here, sir?
Black.
Yeah. For the blind guy. All right.
As you're heading up to the third floor, we're going to pivot back in the direction of the cells. What have you guys sort of been up to? You've seen, or Doxley and Annabel have both seen that TC has entered into the Wren ward here.
I'm gonna lean out to Doxley. Sure. Can I talk to her without being? I'm trying to test like how. Can I talk to her without being heard?
You can definitely talk to her, and if it's in a whisper, you're reasonably confident that people won't hear what you're saying. But people close by might be like, I can hear people whispering, but not exactly what you're saying.
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm gonna lean out and say, "Hey, Doxley." Can you fucking hear me?
Doxley will go up to the door.
Annabelle's like, she's gone.
She's dead. Hi. Is it such a good idea to make everybody aware of your presence?
They're gonna find out anyway.
Maybe not all at once, I got another question.
Great. I'm glad we nailed that one out.
Is the Goryonon a patriarchal kind of institution, or you being the eldest, you inherit in the throne? I'm just curious, does it naturally go to the firstborn son, or?
Well, my parents founded the Goryonon, so there really hasn't been a transfer of power yet.
Oh, so you know where you are in line for the throne?
Doxley's quiet.
Ooh, nice.
Does it matter to you?
Not anymore. What about you? Is there a bakery you're about to inherit from your parents, or?
Nah, my parents are dead.
Oh. That makes things simple.
Oh yeah, I ain't inheriting shit.
Cool, good to get to know you.
No, for real, was it a good idea to alert everyone to your presence all at one time?
Am I gonna be managed by you throughout the entirety of this project?
It's just a question.
The way I see it, the daughter of a smuggling family, guards might want to know that. If I'm good at it out there, I'll be good at it in here.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to figure out how hot-headed you and your brother are. If it's really all about the glory, or if there's some fucking strategy in those sea elf brains of yours. That's all. She's gonna say the last part with as big a smile as possible to see if she can hear the smile through the bars.
I look forward to finding that out too, Annabel.
Just gonna go back and sort of wait to see if she can see TC pass.
Illien, what have you, a little bit of time? Anything else before we,
Illien's on the floor laying down with his head on the grate of the door, like laying like this. And
The
he's got-
bars behind
Yeah, the
him?
bars on his neck. And can you hear the essence of whispering?
Yeah.
He has
It's pretty quiet. Like, you can definitely, if someone on the floor is talking, you can't necessarily hear what they're saying, but you can hear people talking. Yeah.
He's plucked some straw from his bed, and he's braiding it together, and he's going, whisper, 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 whisper. no one lets Illien in. Whisper, whisper. And he's just braiding the straw together.
Fucking Elliot, I love you.
If we're headed to the third,
Yep.
I'll just real quietly, just give me a nod in the direction of the Devore. You don't have to say anything.
Sure. Flatcon 3.
I'm gonna, my name is my name here, yeah.
People have called you Officer Welker. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna, so he does that, opens it himself.
He bangs. So each floor, like
Yeah.
there's a staircase spiraling up the middle, and then at each floor there's like an iron door that to get into the corridor where the cells are,
Yeah.
someone has to open it.
So there's somebody else
on the other side of the
other
door.
side of the
So
door.
he bangs on the door, announces his presence, the door opens, and he goes in. So that's what he does.
Okay. Because I saw him do it that last time. He'll do when he does the and gives his name.
Like on 3.
I'll kind of with a half a beat afterwards, maybe before the door opens. Welker on 3.
Welker on 3.
Shut up! Oh, shut up! It was a very confident and yeah.
Door slides open.
Short one.
There's an elven woman there, sort of motions inside. You guys step in. Let me know when you're headed up. She sits back down at a stool that she has there. Again, he continues this kind of rhythm. It never comes to kind of a full stop, just sort of slows, looks. He steps a few down. Now, each cell, as you move around, so there's the floor number and then the cell number. So as you go through the door, the first cell that you pass by is A. So in the last one you went 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, all the way around. And each floor, they're not totally identical. Some they usually reach to about J or K sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of cells. So as he's kind of going down here, he gets to, let me double check. He gets to now 3D.
Okay.
And as you're passing by, he sort of stops and peers in. And as he does so,
And I'll take a look in. I'm looking for a young elf.
Yeah.
Nope. Yes, a young elf with black hair. I see him in there.
and indeed you do. You see as he's sort of leaning back against the back wall, his hair is sort of draped over two sides so that you can only see sort of a thin sliver down the kind of middle of his face there.
Yeah.
And this presumably is Porfirio, who's been and he sits like very tall with his kind of back up against the back wall and with his hands in his lap, and it almost looks like he's meditating, but his like eyes aren't closed, but he's like very calm, very still, very upright, just sort of sitting in his cell, sort of waiting.
Is he looking out towards us?
He kind of just has his sort of soft gaze in front of him.
Yeah.
But if you kind of stop there, you notice at one point he just sort of.
I'll just give him a little nod.
Puts his focus kind of lightly back in front of him. But you can see that he sort of clocks like a new face.
Yeah.
Like, presumably there aren't that many people who sort of make the rounds, but yeah, he clocks a new face as you kind of go by there. And the next cell that you walk by and sort of very quickly Officer Fleck sort of peeks in and then continues on would be 3E. And as you peer inside to this dark cell, Illien lies. And this is the corner cell.
Okay,
here.
so I'm coming this
Yes,
way.
so
So this
this-
was Porfirio.
That is
here.
Porfirio.
Okay.
You see the back of Illien's head on the floor, doing his straw work.
Have I seen people that close to the doors like that so far?
Some people sometimes do that. Like a couple times you would see people hanging on to the bars and like chatting with each other, kind of like Annabel and Doxley just were. And then usually as like Fleck would start to walk closer, they would like let go of the bars and just take like a step back.
Okay,
So they're
good.
no longer like sort of touching up against the bars there.
Good. So, I mean, do I clock pretty quickly that this is
Yeah,
Illien
you
in here?
recognize Illien very quickly. And he's not in the sort of back part of the cell that's very dark. He's closer to the bars, and the hallway's lit, so you can see him there.
I'm gonna take my little billy club.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a little club there. And it has like it's a wooden club and it has like an iron banded end. So if you hit metal, it's made so that if you hit metal, it makes a loud sort of banging, ringing noise.
not hard, like not very nonchalant. I'm gonna give I'll step kind of closer to it, notice that he's like up against that, and just give it like a knock and give a little space from the door, young one.
Well, good afternoon to you too, officer.
Welker, I'm new here.
Welker. And I will scoot down so I'm fully laying and my head is touching the gate. And I'm just on this, doing the straw like this.
Head's still touching the gate?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, this time I'll give it a little harder. And I said, a little space, I said.
I've been given the king's suite and I can't even enjoy the whole room.
And at this, Fleck has like wandered down a little bit, and now he kind of turns and looks. He heard the banging.
Okay.
Problem?
No.
I'm new here as well. Nice to meet you.
I'll just keep walking away.
As you kind of get up and even move past him, he sort of looks back and just sees like Illien's head kind of close-ish to the bars there.
Thought we usually had him keep a little space.
We'll see where he's at when we circle back.
Good idea. Little whelp.
Pass by the cell.
Do what you're told, young man! Damn!
You can't even listen to TC when he's
Come
in uniform.
on!
Not even when it's required for the job.
You pass by the cell with the gnomish woman.
Okay.
She's sitting in the back of her cell, and the next one you get to is Doxley's cell. Fleck sort of gives a peek in.
Dox is on the floor doing sit-ups.
Do we lock eyes as you get to the top of yours, or are you looking the other way?
Yeah, I'm facing the doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of these were empty earlier, so these must be the new ones that came in.
Alright, we'll have to see how these work out for us, and if he turns away.
He walks, so he moves down to the next one, which would be
I'll
Annabel's.
give you a
but-
big old wink.
Doxley gives a look down and up and a big wink back. Back to
Give me a
her
perception
sit-up.
check.
Grip my billy club. Perception?
Oh, Jesus.
21.
21. As you were just peering into Doxley's cell, and you don't even, because of the way your sort of face was turned, you don't think that anything was seen in terms of the wink. But as you move to continue forward, you give one last look over your shoulder, and that gnomish woman is like almost up against the bar. She moved silently across her cell there, and she's kind of just like looking. And again, you don't think she saw you wink at Doxley, but she
Okay.
just very quietly like drifted to the front of the cell there.
She was not there when I first.
She was against the back wall, as you sort of passed by.
Okay.
Choosing the wrong time to be bold with our flirting.
Yeah, for real.
And she
He's
sees
like, excuse me.
get back, bang, bang, bang,
Achoo! A second time. All right. Keep moving.
gets past to Annabel's, gives a peek in.
Annabelle is gonna be sitting on the edge of her bed, and then when TC walks by, if Fleck is ahead, she's
Fleck
gonna
pat
go.
and goes forward.
Giving a little
Yeah,
nod.
she's gonna go so
Oh
well.
my god.
Come on, keep up now.
All right.
That's a little further. They disappear kind of around the corner there.
3E and 3F.
Yeah, so
No,
Illien
3E.
was in 3E.
F is
The gnomish woman.
Oh, yeah.
And then G and H is Doxley and Annabelle.
All right.
Hot diggity.
All right.
They move on by. Anything else after they sort of pass on by there for a moment?
I want to finish my braid, and then I'm just gonna wait for them to hear the footsteps to get close. And
Okay.
God. Don't fuck with me right
this is fun.
Get to the end of the hallway. Brief pause, a little wait there. Some new faces, ones that I don't recognize.
The whole floor?
No, E, G, and H. They must have come in today. A couple of those cells, gnawing plague.
Wow. E, G, and F, you said it was actually F that caught my eye when she was at the back of the cell as I first went past, and in glancing backwards, she silently made her way all the way to the front there. It might just be because I'm a new face, but is she usually so curious?
People like to see new faces when they come through. She moves very quietly. Yes. I think she was a thief back home.
All right. She got a name?
Yeah, Indira Bynum.
Indira. All right. Maybe she just likes the cut of my jib.
Maybe. She robbed stagecoaches, I think. back outside of Piran, and then I think in the Cusp as well.
Yeah, I imagine that's a good business coming in and out of the Cusp.
How many people move back and forth?
Right.
Business is booming.
Huh. So,
Anyway, that's why she moves so quiet, I guess.
right.
Lifetime of trying.
I was just thinking of, you said usually if people are part of a gang, they kind of separate them out, so.
We try to, just to make sure that, a larger conflict doesn't arise. Two gangs occupying the same ward get into something.
But it would lead to think that the others on this block are not part of any other similar stagecoach thievery.
Not to my knowledge. Like I said, she's been in there for a little while. The others are new. I don't know if there's any kind of association. Haven't heard anything about the new ones.
How good we scrub these cells when we switch them over.
We clean them out pretty good. Why?
Oh, you're just saying the gnawing plague.
Oh, yeah, well, we do our best. It's not like it's fungal or anything. It's rats get in, rats get out. What are you gonna do?
Too true.
H. Young.
I noticed that. Very young.
Strange for Fort Contrition.
Is it?
Yeah. I would say around that age, you usually don't volunteer to come out here, Serve your sentence, you get out, still plenty of life to live.
People volunteer to be put out here.
Yeah. Get a reduction of your sentence because of the work you put in out in the fields.
Right. Silly me.
We just don't get a lot of younger people requesting that, is what I'm saying. 5 years to someone who's 15 ain't so bad, but someone who's 55, 60 years old doesn't want to give up 5 of the good years they got left.
All right. It would seem that perhaps curiosity got the best of her.
Well, you hear rumors. I'm sure we'll find out what they're in for at some point.
And with 3E there, I didn't mean to start anything that goes above our station, but
That's
I
all
thought
right.
they were supposed to give a little space.
Yeah, they shouldn't be leaning up against the bars like that.
Is that something you would have knocked them for? Fair enough.
Find out what he's in for before we start a problem.
I like this guy.
And he turns back and he starts to head back in the opposite direction. Passes by Annabel first.
Can I be standing sort of close?
Yeah.
Not on the bars.
Reflex kick in. Bang, bang, bang.
I don't want to get whacked, but
Yeah.
officers, hi. Is there going to be a work assignment this afternoon of some kind?
That's actually not information that we disseminate to prisoners.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
But yes.
Great. Okay.
I don't know if you're going to be included. They usually pull a few people from a couple different wards.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope to.
You got a date somewhere?
No, sir.
All right, come on.
Sir.
Oh my god.
That was in TZ's head.
Jeez.
Pass by Annabel. Pass by Doxley. So
She's now lifting up her cot and doing squats.
My God.
there is. It's not like a frame. There's no bed frame.
Damn
it's just
it.
a strong.
You got
cot
your
on the
piss
floor.
pot. Just go after that.
Just take a big heavy shit,
Yeah, take
Yeah.
a big
and
pat
then
down.
I can do my squats.
Oh, God.
Pass by the gnomish woman who has now retreated back to the sort of back end of the sound.
Okay. I'll
You get
kind of
to-
linger. I'll kind of watch her this time to see if she moves at all.
Just kind of watch it, and then.
What do you
Do you do that? I guess.
I think I do.
She just gives a nod, sort of acknowledging your sort of.
You flirt.
I mean, come on.
TCC
Wow. This
goes to the next cell.
uniform has changed you. Insufferable.
You get to Illien's, who's been waiting.
Is there a specific Haran salute, or does this work?
There's not a Piran. There would be for different military division, not overall,
Okay.
as a whole. Yeah.
I'll be halfway back from the gate when I hear them coming up. Crisp salute.
Oh my god.
Officer Welker, reporting from halfway back from the gate, sir.
I see now why we might be better off just letting things be. Well done. And I'll just keep walking.
Keeps going.
A comedian.
He won't be the weirdest one that you meet.
Got it.
And as you walk by, you turn the corner there, and you walk by Porfirio, and now, kind of as foretold by Officer Fleck there, he's still sitting in his kind of meditative position, but he has lifted his chin, sort of like to give of just an air of sort of...
And I'll similarly just kind of like stand myself up nice and straight.
Oh,
like,
brother.
keep walking.
You continue on.
Wow.
All right, we got a few more floors, and sometime we'll take a little break, and by then, work assignment might come in.
Wow. All right.
And we'll see when the other team returns. There was a morning shift over at the Pointe, over at Plover, and we'll gather the afternoon and we'll head out.
Got it.
4th floor. Goes to the next one there. Anything else?
When they turn the
Yes,
corner,
after they turn the corner.
I rush back to the piss pot, put it upside down, and take the braided straw, trying to make it hard to see if I can get the rock loose from the pipe.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Crafty Magoo.
Woo! Oh.
No.
7.
7, not right away. You can see that it's wedged in there enough that it's hard to kind of thread it in there. So you kind of go to work, and you sort of, every time you hear what sounds like a footstep or something, you sort of, and then you go back to it. So it's kind of a back and forth process. So it's taking a moment. Yeah.
So is the pattern that like there's somebody else doing the same thing that we're doing, going to each floor, going around and back?
Yeah, like staggered rotations.
Yeah.
So like it's not always the same. It's not like there's one on every floor at all times, but
Right.
like there might be someone 2 floors up above you who's making a round. Yeah, so that there's never too long a gap between someone at least just passing by to peek into a cell or something. Just a couple of minutes at most, in terms of privacy or whatever. So you head up to the 4th floor. Anything else as a little bit of time passes? You can feel a little bit of the sort of agitation, like the boredom sets in right away. Like there's nothing to see, there's nothing to do. A couple times you sort of reach and you just feel the like deck of cards and the dice and the gun. You don't sort of take them out just yet, but just knowing that there's something there.
Hearing that there might be a work thing that she seems curious about, I'm gonna use Healing Surge.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try to heal some of my hit points.
You may. Please do that.
Okay. That's it.
You can go ahead and roll for that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were waiting.
I'm the only thing I want to see if I can get the attention of the person next to me.
Sort of in
Sort
the
of
next
on- yeah,
cell
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Great. In what way would you like to sort of try and maybe get some?
I'm just gonna sort of like lean over and be like, Psst.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
You hear kind of a roll as if someone was on their cot, their straw cot, and they like rolled over. And then someone kind of sounds like they're shuffling a little closer. Hi.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Annabel. I'm new.
I'm Nestor.
Hey, Nestor. You been here long?
Yeah.
Anybody I gotta look out for among the guards?
I don't know.
Okay. You do work assignments?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
They like taking me out there.
is that all right with you?
Yeah. I'm big. I can move stuff.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm little.
They might not take you out there then.
Damn. Was kind of hoping for a reduced sentence.
Reduced from how long? What'd they give you?
Would I know how long an armed robbery was?
I mean, if nobody was seriously hurt, it could probably just be like a couple of years. But if somebody got like seriously injured, it could
Let's
be
say somebody was seriously hurt, which is why I'm looking to reduce.
5 to 10 years. I mean, if somebody was like cripplingly injured, like
Yeah.
like a permanent injury of some kind
Cool.
without killing them.
Yeah. 10 years.
$20.
Guys. Well, if you want to talk, I'm just next door now.
All right. If you see a rat, don't eat it.
Oh, okay. I won't. Are the rations not good enough that people want to eat rats?
They give you food, but it doesn't taste great. Some people want a little something extra.
Okay, I won't eat them. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just gonna kind of like wait by that wall. Like she's gonna actually lay on her back and sort of put her legs up the wall and just kind of like listen for at that end, not too close, but just to see if Doxley ever leans over and to hear Nestor like close enough on that side.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh. 24.
24. It's very brief because he pulls it back like very shortly after, but at one point, just because you're so close and you can see like a hand curls around one of the bars in the next cell over, so you're presumably seeing his hand. And it's huge. He looks like, based on the skin tone, it might be a Goliath. Someone with a little bit of giant's blood. Like,
Nestor,
like
my
you can
boy.
see sort of a very large sort of ashen hand curl around the bar and then let go there and then kind of duck back into the cell.
Cool. Okay.
The
Cool. Love it.
GM.
Love it. Great.
Give me one more sleight of hand check.
Oh,
Okay,
come
more
on,
time.
let's go. Please, 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 please.
Come on.
Poop your pants.
Rock out of here. That's an at one.
You pooped your pants. I'm sorry.
Oh, fudge.
As you're sort of finagling with it, you get it up in there, and then you think you kind of have found it, and you give it a little tug, and it just, the straw kind of comes loose. And it looks like you're gonna have to tie it back together. You think you might need something with less give to it. A stick, a little rod, something that you can jam in there that isn't as flexible as, like, even if you were to tightly weave the straw, it doesn't have enough sort of tension to it to dislodge whatever item is in there.
I'll go up to the pipe.
I'm almost there. So just stay with me.
And then I'm gonna go back to
You hear a
laying
little.
down.
You can't understand what it is.
All right.
Boy.
Without knowing exactly how much time has passed, your ears perk up when you hear what sounds like kind of like a bell or a gong. It has a very deep resonance to it. And you can hear what?
I'm gonna say to my friend, dear dinner bell.
Do you actually ask?
Yeah, it's
He's
a
like, they're coming back from the assignment.
Oh.
And you can hear, all of you can hear some prisoners sort of shuffling around, people standing up, just sort of moving back over to the grating to sort of hear and listen and look. And soon the doors on the first floor, the double doors open up. And with rattling chains, you see a line of filthy inmates, all linked to the same chain, shuffling inside. And you can see they're caked with sweat and the grime, and they're sporting uniforms that the normal off-white color has turned to like a smudgy kind of gray and brown. And you'd hazard a guess that they might have returned from working underground, maybe out in the downweald somewhere. And the same officer that led the three of you up the stairs, the dwarven man with the eye patch, he sort of motions them inside and yells up, Flock's back! Get the birds in the cage! And you hear some doors open on sort of the upper floors there as they prepare to receive the prisoners kind of coming back from their assignment. And that's where we're gonna take a little break.
So I don't know this, but Wells is the same guy that brought them in. Is like the kind of the head.
He's
of the
currently,
floor.
he's sort of I think someone referred to him as the intake officer. Yeah, who's like, he is in charge of who comes and goes out of the ward, at least for the time that he's sort of serving. Yeah, so.
All right.
I have more notes than I've ever taken.
I threw a lot of names and people at you.
Holy shit. I knew. It was
You're gonna meet a lot of people here at the prison, so you guys are in it. You're in it now.
Oh, me and Flecka, bestie.
Yeah, I love Flash.
He's such a nerd. I can't wait to sell him for a pack of cigarettes. No, wait, you. I'm gonna sell you for a pack of cigarettes.
Thank you all so much. We're just getting started here at Fort Contrition, but the mission is on. You guys have already made some little contacts here and there, heard some whispers, heard some rumors about what's going on.
I want to next floor. I want to see who's above this ding dong
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
You didn't
shit.
see that Illien was like tampering with
No, I know.
You don't
Yeah.
know that he's trying to talk to him, but,
Yeah.
but yes.
I
yes.
want to know who that is.
So that's where we're going to pick up when we come back. The bells are ringing. The people are coming back.
So
We'll see everybody.
Get your Powerball numbers ready. Here we go. See you soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chapter 39 of Brunkhollow.
Ooh, kong kong, dun 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 dun. Right? No?
Sure.
Dun dun.
Crimes of a specific nature. Regular crimes here.
We're in the thick of it at Fort Contrition here, assigned to our cells and our posts as we move along the floors and perform our various duties here, and possibly a labor assignment out in the Downwield soon to come. But before we dive back into that...
Before we dive back in, we've got Russell Ogren resubscribed, Armor Crocodile, give it a bit. Or sub, sorry, Spectre, 10 Sheep Cheek, Night Fury resubscribed, Dorica, 3 Sheep Cheek, Armor Crocodile, 1 bit. I think that's when you rolled that one. Nice McRoss resubscribed, Armor Crocodile, another gifted sub, Kiki Magic resubscribed, and then Seamus Go resubscribed.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That prison swill. Hero a cannon won't drink that chunk down yet. a little firefly for you.
I did not catch any of the words that came out.
Because they speak, I mean, I'm sure I'm butchering it, but they speak partially in Chinese. Okay.
Or Doxley has to dry out.
Yes.
What?
She's gonna be
Dry out
especially
in prison.
irritable.
I really thought that was some kind of sexual innuendo.
Oh no!
Gotta dry her out.
I can't spare the moisture.
So you're hearing the gong bells coming from the lower floor there. And as you're hearing that noise, when he gave you sort of a tour of the lower floor, there was sort of a large bell at the bottom floor that can be kind of rung, that sort of as used as a signal for various things. And as that continues to ring, the prisoners shuffle in, chained wrists, ankles, and to each other as well. Some of the guards that are posted at the various doors, and TC has walked by a number of them now as he's made a few of the rounds, they sort of stand up from their stools and they open the doors, sort of ready to receive any of the prisoners because they're probably heading up to different floors. You notice that one of the laborers that's walking in here with this group is holding a blood-stained rag to his forehead. And there's also a bit of sort of gray and brown sort of streak down his face. And, you know, the thought occurs to you, falling rocks are one of the perils that come with sort of working out in the Downwield. Certainly in a mine or something like that, where a loose piece of the sort of ceiling or tunnel or shaft that's been made could fall down. And when it's not deemed serious enough to sort of garner real medical attention, you're stuck with nothing with kind of a shove back in line and a pounding headache. I mean, you can see he's been given a kind of rag to stem the bleeding, but they don't let him sort of peel off to the infirmary or anything like that. As you look at this, it's a little bit of a demoralizing sight. And without knowing for sure, you hope that over time, this hard labor that they're out there working on, you hope that it amounts to some kind of meaningful reduction in their sentence. One can only hope that because they're not being sort of paid directly, that they can prove themselves worthy of a bit of a commuted sentence. I'd like everybody to give me perception checks.
Golly.
From myself.
Except for Illien.
Aww.
21. Wait,
13.
13.
12.
12.
perception? Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry. 22.
22. I'm going to say that only TC notices this. The only one over 15 there. As the prisoner is walking in there, and he's got the rag kind of up to his head, and he has to, his other hand is raised as well because they're sort of latched together with the manacles there. And as he's kind of coming in, they stop for a moment, and you heard Officer Wells sort of shout out, "Flock's back! Get the birds back in the cage!" And people start to shuffle over towards the staircase. As that's happening, he lowers the towel ever so slightly, and you can see a little gash on his forehead where it looks like he got hit by a blunt object of some kind. He looks up to a number of the gratings that are above him on different floors, so where other prisoners are peering out. And you see him make this gesture as he lowers the... And then he puts the towel kind of back up his head. And it's far enough away that it's hard for you guys to kind of clock that.
Damn it.
But he
Less
makes
of a two and more of a smoking...
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, he sort of makes that motion. And he's not looking to anyone in particular, but sort of sending that signal out a little bit.
Okay.
And then he sort of looks around to see if anyone kind of noticed, and then he puts the rag kind of back on his head.
Can I kind of take a quick look up and see if there's anybody who's like really obviously looking out?
Give me a perception check.
21 this
21.
time. The one that I mistakenly said last time.
Someone on the... Let me just make sure I have this right. Somebody on the second floor, so only one floor up, and you're above them because you've been working your way upward with your sort of round, so you're looking down.
Yeah.
Someone whose hands are through the grating and is kind of looking out does this gesture.
Okay.
And then goes back to just sort of hanging limp there, hands
Okay.
out. So a little bit of kind of signaling back and forth between a couple people.
Okay.
And if you had to guess based on some of the lettering, so that's floor 2, and you'd probably guess it's like 2F.
Okay.
If you had to guess.
2F. Maybe.
Yeah.
C, F, G, H, I, F. Oh,
So, like,
below
just
the
below
between
Deirdre.
Illien and...
Yeah, between below and Deirdre,
Deirdre.
between Illien and Doxley, but on the floor below.
Okay. All right. Fair.
As you're watching this kind of take place, you feel a little tap on your shoulder, and Fleck has kind of leaned in there. And he points down, and at the back of this line of prisoners that is shuffled in, you see a rather imposing tiefling man. He's got these kind of low-profile horns that stay very close to his head, and a bushy mustache that's made even more pronounced because he kind of has like pursed lips a little bit. And under his gray cloak, you can see he's wearing some kind of like banded splint armor, which is a much heavier choice than most of the people have, like leather, maybe like a chain shirt that has a little bit of coverage, but he's wearing a much more formidable piece of armor there. Okay. And as he kind of points down to him, Officer Garland. He's been one of the warden's go-to people for taking units out into the downwheel. He's got a very low RIC, which of course, you know, doesn't tell the whole story, but the higher-ups like their numbers that they can point to when Perron comes knocking.
You said he was a tiefling, mustache.
And sort of thick mustache and sort of very low-profile horns that are sort of against the side of his head there.
Low RIC. I don't know what RIC is yet, do I?
Give me a history check.
Okay. Rather than sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's 4.
Yeah, the way he says it, it sounds like something prison-specific, and, you know, you don't actually work in a prison, so...
Righteous intake chewing. No, I don't actually.
Oh.
No, oh my god, no. Damn it. I'll just let that go.
Okay. Most labor assignment officers loathe to pull a double shift in a day, but Officer Garland seems to relish the opportunity.
Overachiever, as it were.
He can be a little prickly, doesn't like to see other officers chatting with the prisoners, like I said, but
Right.
it's just something to keep in mind if we're going to go out there with him.
So he'd go back to back. He'd go again.
I'm looking down there, and I think he will. At this point, he might have taken his armor off if he wasn't planning on turning around going right back out.
I was about to say, do we all get armor like that going out?
You get your leathers like you're provided. Anything beyond that, you gotta pay for yourself.
Wow.
Someone who goes out and downwield
Mr.
is
Garland comes from maybe a little bit of money, I guess.
It's possible. Again, for someone who goes out there as often as he does, I think he thought it was a sound investment.
Right. Rather keep your skin than your money.
You won't look down, and you see Garland hand a piece of paper over to the intake officer, Wells. So Garland hands something over to Wells. Wells peruses it very sort of briefly, and he rears back his head, and he kind of yells up once more to the officers that are sort of on the upper floors. 2 and 3, stand by! D through H on both floors! And this prompts a little bit of grumbling and maybe even a little bit of discontent. You can tell that some of the inmates were maybe hoping for an interruption to this monotonous sort of day of sitting around here in their cells. And for Illien, Doxley, and Annabel, you can hear someone who's coming down the hall, and it sounds like they're sort of tinkering with a key ring. You can hear them like shh, 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 like as if someone's like maybe preparing to let people out of their cells or something. So you're hearing that. And that person, as they sort of flip through a couple more key rings, cells D through H, exit procedures, wrists together, backs against the bars. And you guys are newer, but you hear around you other people immediately, like people kind of know the drill. They get up, they move, backs against the bars, they stick their hands out there. And Fleck points down kind of at the 2 floors that were mentioned, the 2nd and the 3rd floor. Go on, and you can assist Officer Harmon on 3. I'll assist Officer Billups on 2. We'll meet back down when they give us the signal to move out.
All right.
And he goes down the stairs there. You get to 3, and he splits off and goes down 1 more floor. And you're sort of there at the door to 3.
Gods, okay. A meeting, he said I'm meeting with who?
Officer Harmon. And you passed her on the way in as well. She's sort of, so you've seen her already.
Okay. I'll go up to 3.
And she's again still fiddling with her keys. She hears you kind of coming over her shoulder there.
Welker on 3.
Look at this, an extra set of hands. They know the drill, so go on. She hands you like a couple sets of manacles. Attach the manacles, just hands for now. When we get the flock caged, we take them down one at a time. We do legs. Yep.
Standard procedure.
And she takes some manacles as well, and she goes to the opposite end and starts in that direction. So she actually, I think, because H is at the end, so she goes to Annabel, and so first
Okay. I'll kind of quickly go through, D. Was it A or D through?
D through H. Shit. So Porfirio's starting on both ends and moving together. Porfirio would be the first on this end.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And as you sort of walk up there with the manacles in hand, he sort of and slips his hands through the bars after kind of flexing and stretching a little bit, and he fits his hand through the bars.
Ooh, how saucy do I want to get to start here? Give him a little like when you shake hands and get the little
Stop licking my hand, you horse's ass.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here we go.
I will go to kind of not roughly, but I'll take his first hand firmly and lock it in.
Yeah, with the little
And
pin.
then with the next one, I'll be markedly more tender with his second hand.
Okay.
And like almost give it like a little soft squeeze and then put the manacle on.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just a marked difference between the way I handled the first hand and the second one.
Okay.
Because everybody knows what that means.
He goes out, he's like, we got a soft hand guard.
We got a right hand tough, left hand soft.
We got a toughy softy. Block. Okay. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't like react to that.
All right, and lock him up. Is the idea? I'll look over and see her. Is she just doing that first along the row?
Just hands first. Yeah, she
Yes.
said then like they'll open them up.
Do I hand and then open the door?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. So locked, and then I go over to Illien.
Yeah. So Illien's the next one you go to. And Officer Harmon next goes to Doxley, who's the next one over. Are your hands backed out through those? She gives it a little shake to make sure it's kind of locked. Lay back for the legs.
Yup.
Keeps going.
When TC's there, I want to be as super quiet, but
There's more noise now than
Yeah.
there's been because there's people going up and down the stairs. There's chains rattling. There's some shouting, so it's easier to say something quietly without someone.
I know the other inmate might be looking, so I don't even turn to him. I say, TC, do you know, do we have to get strip searched when we come back?
I didn't. When I saw them come in down there, did it look like? Well, they're not in all the way yet, right?
No, they were heading up the stairs already, so they are.
Okay.
In. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe still when they're on the outside, it didn't look like it down there. Now listen. First of all, a little less familiarity, please. And second of all, Indira, next to your sister, her next door neighbor. Watch out for her. Another thief, someone who can move very quietly when she wants to.
Okay.
Locking up.
Bring back a 6-inch stick for me, please. Thank you.
Us? What the fuck? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Didn't you already get your shit from the... All right, I'll try. And I'm locking him up here.
Okay. You get to because there's 5 there, you get to the middle, and she takes the lead on Indira, so you finish with Illien, so she looks to you. Problems?
Good at all.
All right. Give it a moment. They'll give us the signal. We'll open them up and do the legs. Everybody hold! And she takes a step kind of back from the bars there. There's sort of a little waiting period where everyone just kind of hovers, waits. You can hear some noise upstairs. The prisoners that had kind of head up. One of them came onto this floor and was being escorted by another officer, but they went down around the corner. Not the guy who had the injury on his head, but someone who's part of the workforce there. As you look at him also, the thought occurs to you, not that it wasn't worth asking TC, but they did do the checks in that little sort of courtyard outside, so you wouldn't have necessarily seen that. Like they didn't pat them down once they were in the building already. That was done on the outside, so if anything like that was to be done.
6-inch stick?
We don't get the Goliath, do we?
And then here's the next one over. Yeah, the 2 on your block who are going with you are Porfirio and Indira.
Great. Love them.
If the guards are far enough away, I'm gonna just quietly say, sort of, back over. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, bye, Nestor. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And once again, you see the hands just kind of uncurl from the bars and sort of disappear back into his cell.
Just gonna sort of just sit there quietly, waiting for.
On the floors above and around the corner, you hear some clear, clear. And then from downstairs, you hear Wells once more. Open them up. She signals to you.
Flipping through keys. This looks right.
She hands you D and E, and she takes.
But the keys themselves are.
Yes, they are. Yep. So one at a time, takes them out, and then as the legs come out, she fits them with the manacles. And then again, she has an extra set that she had draped over her shoulder, and she hooks it onto your wrist chain, and then hooks it to the next person. So the order is the same order. So Porfirio's in the front, and then Illien, Indira, Doxley, Annabel in this kind of line of chained together prisoners here. So that's all kind of.
So there's 10 prisoners going on. It would seem 10 prisoners.
10 from the Wren, and Fleck mentioned this actually, and they're taking 10 from the Sparrow Ward as well.
Okay.
So 20 total prisoners theoretically, moving down here.
Got it.
So this line kind of you wait. This line gets to the staircase, and you wait, and you look down, and you see that the line from the second floor has come out. Fleck kind of gives a look up, leads the prisoners kind of out to the front. And then Officer Harmon sort of gives you a nod. She stays, but you lead the line of prisoners. down. And the first person who's in front there, Porfirio, sort of with his black hair. Oh, they're actually behind you there. Yeah, so the hand's behind. And you can see his like long black hair kind of swaying back and forth as he walks down the stairs there.
He's looking at me.
If you're looking over your shoulder, I mean, he's like following you. And,
I'll look back at him. Eyes forward. And turn.
Yes, officer.
TC has like a little looking away. He's like,
You get down to the bottom floor. Once you get down to the bottom floor, they now sort of link them together side by side in pairs. So it's going to be 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 10 total here. So you get linked up with someone you don't recognize from the floor below, basically. So you're all, and again, there's a little bit of space. You're not like shoulder to shoulder, but it's this kind of network, like a rectangle of chained together people here. All right. Yep. Was there something?
Sorry, real quick. So, in my estimation, the person who did the this gesture is chained up next to Indira.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
Good.
Like
Yes.
Yeah.
D is chained. D is with D. E is with E.
Yeah.
F is with F.
Yeah.
So all
Okay.
of
This guy below you, though.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
buddy.
no,
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
I thought about that.
You get chained to that guy. He's like, you can hear that guy too. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. I asked to be put where I am now because I was where.
You got me looking.
Yeah.
And you're led back outside into the prison yard. A slow kind of methodical march. As you're marching along, you see coming from the south another group just like that. Another 2x5 rectangle of prisoners led by another group of 4 or 5 officers, kind of motioning, moving along. And those two groups kind of converge toward that gate that you went through when you initially entered into Fort Contrition.
So we're coming from the west. We're seeing them come from the south.
Yes.
And Nightingale is over in the north, but far
Yes.
enough away that you don't really see people. It's just
No, I mean, you see the building. Yeah, you can see the big... And the buildings look, aside from the short wing, which is the southwest one, which is a little smaller, they look identical from the outside. Like, you literally could not... If, you know from hearing from people that the Nightingale houses some of the more nefarious criminals, but you wouldn't know that just by looking at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have obvious sort of different defenses to it. So those two groups converge. As you kind of come together, a lot of people like kind of just sizing each other up, looking at the other kind of group, and everybody's kind of marched forward.
Who am I chained with? Like, what do they look like?
You are chained with a half-orc.
yeah.
Yeah, like a little loot and a half-orc. It's a half-orc man, and he looks like something, like some kind of injury to his jaw, because it's like sort of off-centered. Like to the side almost, and because the half-orcs have like the little underbite with the 2 teeth there, one of them is like tucked under the lip because the jaw has been like pushed to the side. So you don't know if that's recent or something, but some kind of facial laceration injury has led to that kind of dislocation there. And that person, as they kind of are marching alongside,
Give them a little nod.
they give you a nod, sort of minding their business, and they march along there.
Who am I next to? I don't know.
Yeah, tell us.
You are marching next to a shorter human woman, and she's stocky. She looks like she can handle herself in a fight, and you would guess that not only by the sort of musculature, but also by a little bit of bruising, fresh bruising, like not a lingering injury, but like something on the sort of top of the eye, a little bit of a cut lip down below, like looks like maybe been in a recent fight.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Keep walking.
Sure.
And then Doxley.
I love walking.
Who's my baby?
When you get connected to the person from the second floor below, you find yourself next to a dwarven man, and he has very sort of fiery red hair that's very curly, like springy almost. Like, it's not quite an afro, but it's like very, it's kind of like bouncy atop it. Like, as he moves, you can see it kind of bouncing back and forth atop his head there.
Okay.
And he's one of the people that, when I was talking about when you were kind of walking up the staircase, there's a little bit of stir crazy in his eyes, a little bit of madness. Like, when you look at him, he's sort of...
Oh my god.
Like he just has something a little kind of off. He's a little fidgety as he's kind of walking forward. A couple times he almost like slows and then gets pulled by the chain in front of him. Like he gets distracted kind of very easily. Like he's a little fidgety.
So exciting. Okay, that's so cool.
His was a small human woman, right?
Like stocky human woman, short and stocky human woman. Yep. Frizzy redheaded dwarf. And then the half-orc with the jaw dislocation next to him. As you're marched back out into the prison yard and through toward the gate, you gauge that not all that much time has passed, yet you're already thankful for the minutes you don't have to spend in your cell. And you can see why, there's danger to these assignments, but if you genuinely get a meaningful reduction to your sentence and you don't have to sit in a cell all day, there's appeal to that for sure. I mean, certainly for people who can swing a pickaxe, who can handle themselves in a fight. The prospect of wading into the downwield without the full measures of protection that you would normally bring and that you have brought in the past is a little unnerving. But as this does seem to be a road well traveled, this Plover Point, which you guys haven't heard the name of, but TC was told, this seems to be a place that they've returned to several times. So this isn't like you're plumbing the depths of the unknown of the downwield here. So a little bit of the risks mitigated that you might otherwise be if you were just exploring a new area of the downwield. In addition, you look around and the prisoners that you're with and the other sort of rectangular prisoners from the Sparrow Ward, you have all these people around you, and it's all these people that are opportunities to lay the groundwork for this mission. And already some of the gears are turning in your head. You're sort of just looking at them, maybe seeing little details about what you think they might be like, what you might posit. You're even, in your head, you might come up with scenarios about what they're in for, like sort of gauging what kind of crimes. It's certainly not the people in the Nightingale Ward who might be there for the more serious crimes, but there's a lot of that, a lot of sort of brief eye contact, and then you look away. They do the same thing. They're sizing you up just as you are sizing them up, although probably for a different reason. I mean, you guys are here for a mission, but they're interested in you as new people here on the block. You know that allegiances and connections are precious commodities here, and there's a lot of meaningful eye contact being made. They sort of look you up and down. Sometimes the groups will look to each other. The manual labor ahead of you, while obviously supervised, is a unique chance to mingle in some closer proximity, where the sounds of plinking pickaxes covers up conversation. So maybe time to put a little bit of people skills to the test. An opportunity to say something to someone that, you don't have to worry necessarily, or you can easily tell if there's a guard nearby that might be overhearing that conversation. So TC, you're marching along. You and Fleck are sort of at the end of the line, so you're closest to Annabel and the half-orc that she's paired with, so you're sort of bringing up the rear for the Wren Ward group of prisoners there. And there's a number of others. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 officers per ward. So there's 7 officers for the Sparrow group, and there's 7 officers for the Wren group.
So there's 5 other, me and Fleck, 5 others from ours, and 7 from the other.
Yeah. So it's sort of a marching order is you and Fleck in the back. There's 1 officer on each side of the sides. There's 2 in the front, and then in front of those 2 is Officer Garland, who's leading the sort of charge there. And there's similarly someone from the other ward who seems to be leading that group as well.
Yeah.
So there's a long period of walking here. You exit out of Little Hollow to the northeast, which takes you away from Detention Pass, so immediately already moving into an area that's a little less familiar to you. You sort of picture in your head all the different ways that you've gone off of Detention Pass. You've gone to the north, to the south, often one direction, often another. So you're leading, it's like a dirt trail that kind of leads out of Little Hollow here. Well-traveled enough that it looks like, based on sort of marks in the ground and the dirt and the soil, there's wheel tracks, there's horse tracks. This is definitely a route that the Clinkers will take in and out of Little Hollow here. And there's a long sort of rhythmic, takes a long time.
Yeah, is there any between, maybe not even them, but between other prisoners? And then if there is, are guards right on top of them?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. 11.
11. Not that you immediately discern. The only thing that you pick up on is, and maybe because they don't necessarily always get to see each other as often, some of the people in the Wren Ward group will kind of look over to the Sparrow Ward group, and like one person you might see like a little nod, another person kind of a little bit of a glare, like just, you're not exactly sure what it is, but you pick up on little things, just maybe people seeing someone that they haven't seen in weeks, days, months. You're not sure, how much contact there is between them. You know that people get shuffled around between the wards. Flex told you that. So you're not sure if there's bad blood that's now being sort of swirling back together. Yeah, that crosses your mind. But yeah, little looks here and there, but nothing so meaningful that it sort of stands out to you there.
Do I see any looks between the guards and prisoners that are meaningful?
Give me a perception check.
I rolled the same number.
Not great. 9.
Yeah, not immediately, not off the bat. For now, the sort of precision is the procession is so orderly and so practiced that people are pretty much falling into line. There isn't too much there isn't that much talking between prisoners. Like people are focused. I think you pick up on the fact that some of the prisoners might know that when they get to this labor site, they might have an opportunity to talk, so they don't need to do it now. Like they don't need to try and sneak in a quick conversation when they know that they might have that opportunity later. And in addition to that, if the guards, wanted to interact with a prisoner, it would be much easier to do so once you get to it. A couple times as you're walking, Officer Garland, who's leading your line, will walk backwards and watch the line because he knows the trail very well, and he'll just watch the guards. Turn back around, he's keeping a very sort of orderly movement here.
You hate this guy.
I fucking hate this guy.
Tight.
Yes. Is there an officer close to me, to my left? Or
yes.
Right?
So there's the 2 officers in the back, which includes TC and Fleck. There's 1 on each side, and then 2 in the front. So there's someone sort of. Because you are, it would be back over your left shoulder. There's an officer sort of walking along there. He's got a light crossbow slung over his shoulder.
I look back at him. If he meets my eye, and it's kind of pretty out here, isn't it?
Come on, man. Keep walking.
Okay.
Swing and a miss.
Nothing to say.
As you say that,
Strike it
you
out.
sort of come back to center and you look forward and you look over to your right where the sort of human woman is there and she...
Tough crowd.
She gives a little... Give herself a little more slack.
All right.
Get me away from this Edie.
Walk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, so I've been issued the leather armor. I have, he said a hand
You have a hand
crossbow?
crossbow?
Okay, the other guy had a light crossbow, but
Yes, you have a hand crossbow, because the tight corridors of the ward itself, it's a little hard to draw a light crossbow, so you have the hand crossbow, but...
Okay.
And he said that, you weren't necessarily supposed to come out with this group, but they're a little short on officers, so maybe in a different time... if you knew ahead of time you'd be an escort, you might have been issued a light crossbow, but yes, for now you have the...
Hand crossbow and there was a blade, you said?
Yeah, it's a short blade. It's functionally a dagger, basically.
Not a short sword.
No, and then you have what's functionally a club as well. So you have a club, a dagger, and a hand crossbow.
Okay, a bonker. Got it. Bonker, stab.
A bonker, a stabber, and a shooter.
Nice.
And a pew pew.
And you have what armor did you have
God.
prior to coming to Fort
Hold
Country?
please. So what I have in here, I think is leather.
What was your AC prior to Fort Country?
15.
15. And your dex modifier is what?
4.
Great. So you were probably wearing leather, yeah.
Okay.
So it's the same, basically. Yeah, you're wearing a different set of leather armor. A reminder that your ACs are all 10 plus dex, as you are unarmed.
Ooh, what is that? Everyone sound it off.
Spicy.
11.
Spicy and 11. What was yours?
13.
Okay, 13, 11.
12.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, the wizard has the highest fucking AC of us.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Crazy.
great.
In addition to that,
Park ranger, sorry. Yeah.
it's complicated
She's a park
by It's complicated when you're all literally like chained together, but if you get separated from like the sort of chain connecting all the prisoners together, but you still have like the wrist and leg manacles on, it's enough to maneuver. Like you can walk, it's not like you're hopping or anything, but you have 10 less feet of movement. Your movement speed is reduced by 10.
Cool.
With both manacles.
If you have the hand, if your leg manacles come off, you get your full speed back. But yes, as long as you have the ankle shackles, your speed is reduced.
Why is he telling us this?
Well, you asked about
I
the
know.
armor, so
Yeah, that's
a couple things came up.
Thank you.
30 minutes. 45 minutes.
Damn.
Swallowed up by the forests of the Downweald. Sort of familiar to you at this point. All parts of the Downweald look a little bit different, but it's familiar smells, sights, sounds, some of those birds chirping that have a ring of familiarity to them.
This is like mid-afternoon?
Yeah, this is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And, I don't know, had I gotten a sense of how long these usually go for? Like a few hours? So
Yeah,
if all
so
goes to
there was a
plan-
morning shift that might have left at like 6, 7, so like 4 hours, like 4. Yeah,
So if everything goes to plan, we're not coming back until almost the evening.
basically till dinner, before dinner time, probably. Yeah. So you're doing like the afternoon shift out here. So,
Got it.
The entire journey thus far, as you continue to walk, has felt like you've been on a consistent sort of light upward incline, and you can see people starting to pant a little bit, sort of sweat dripping down the face. The metal rubbing against your wrists and ankles certainly isn't making the trek any more tolerable each time. Sometimes if someone kind of slips, it pulls like a number of people, and then everybody has to kind of wait for them to right themselves.
You okay up there? All right.
Oh, Illien!
Oh, God.
You look ahead into the distance, and you see some very dramatically rising hillsides. So there's this kind of light incline, and now it seems like the hills are getting a little bigger. They sort of rise up against this sort of silhouette against the sky. And you say a silent prayer that hopefully the entrance to this mine or quarry is preferably located closer to the base of these hills than having to kind of climb up into them. If you squint and you sort of shield your eyes from the sun, it looks like there's some kind of structure as well at the base of one of these larger hills. Maybe a small cabin, perhaps. Evidence that this is not like a brand new operation. They clearly have been to this site several times, like enough. It's yielded enough resources that they've committed to this space. And I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
We'll use some visuals just like
Can't wait.
Can we start?
so. This is give me 1 second.
Hold your horses.
But it takes so long to turn on anyway.
Yes, you may. This is Plover Pointe, they call it. Plover. And a plover is a type of bird.
Clover?
Wow.
They're little like running birds.
Oh, man.
So there's more to the hillside here. Like it's obviously cut off, but this is what you're walking towards. Like the hillside extends to the left and right here.
Okay.
But this is like there's a little cabin kind of at the base here.
Ugh.
And then there's a stone staircase that's been built up into the hillside, and then an entrance to this cavern or mine or something. whatever
I
it
don't
is.
like the mine where the goblins were hanging out. Where it was
Kind of like
on this
into the
facade,
hillside.
yeah.
Yep. Sort of built into the hillside here.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
So this is what you guys are sort of heading for, and you're sort of off in the distance looking at this sort of Plover's Point here. Wow. So as it starts to come into view, you can see people kind of...
I'll kind of whisper to Fleck there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It really is breathtaking, honestly. Nothing like this in Paran.
Don't get hills like this, I guess. I've been here a few times already. It's usually pretty uneventful. They've dug a lot of it out, but they keep finding veins of silver, so they keep going back.
Sounds about right.
And at this, there's a little bit of conversation, and you see the officer in front. I'm saying so many different officers. Garland turns around, and you see him kind of. He doesn't say anything, but he, like a little spidey sense, sort of turns around, and Fleck kind of ducks his head down and continues to walk there.
Aww.
Maybe save it till we're there.
Copy.
Fleck motions again, or not Fleck. Garland motions again, turns around, continues to walk. You get to the base of this hill here. And when you do, they start unshackling you from each other. And you still have wrist shackles, which have now been put around to the front by this point. Sorry, I should have said that before. When you were taken out of your cells, they were behind you, but they have since, now they're in front. And there's a little bit of length to them. They're not like attached at the wrist. So one by one, they sort of take these. And in the cabin, two of the officers go up into the cabin and they start wheeling out across the boards wheelbarrows full of pickaxes. Oh my God. They come down the stairs. Start to motion to the group. And Officer Garland kind of takes the lead here. He sort of steps up to the very base of the staircase there. Now, as we unhook you, you're going to grab a pickaxe and head up the stairs. You'll be escorted by the officers. We'll go in groups of 5, and we will rotate so that we do not tire ourselves out. Is that clear?
Crystal.
I know most of you have been here before, but let's keep everything clean and simple. There will be officers both inside and out. Do not attempt to place anything in your pants. To try to keep a souvenir, something shiny, something silver, because we will find it. All right. 5 from the wren, 5 from the sparrow. The groups get closer. So they take, they're gonna take, they take Illien, Indira, Porphyrio,
Oh no.
and 2 other people from the second floor.
Illien.
Illien's the only one, and then Doxley and Annabel and 3 others from the second floor have been sort of sectioned off here.
Okay.
And in addition, the other group kind of splits. And that was just kind of the way it split down the middle, kind of.
Okay.
So that group comes, and he motions to Illien's group first. So Indira and Porphyrio sort of walk up, to chain still, pick up a pickaxe. We will have crates and wheelbarrows brought up to the entrance. We'll show you where to pick, load it up into the cart, and we haul it out. Very simple. Very easy. Let's get to work. And the people with the pickaxes start up the staircase. This grueling sort of staircase climb here. Yes. And you guys work your way up to this kind of little walkway here. That sort of leads deeper into the mine that they've made. And as you guys are, halfway, 3/4 up, 2 other officers, one from the Sparrow and one from the Wren, have been one at the front, one at the back, escorting this line of people up the side. And as they're moving up, another group is getting ready because they're going to keep rotating people out. So they motion for another group, which includes Doxley and Annabel, who kind of come forward, pickaxe in hand with your chain still attached, and they have you wait. They sort of motion for you to wait, and you wait here. So there's a little bit of sort of holding pattern. Fleck kind of saunters over in the direction of TC. Looks like we're going to be escorting the next group up.
All right. This was the same spot that Garland was at earlier today, yes?
Yeah.
A favorite, you said, this spot.
There's a lot of silver to be found here, so they keep going at it.
Nothing really hiding in the dark corners in there that we might need to use these crossbows on, yeah?
It's the downwield, but nothing's turned up in the cave itself.
All right.
Illien sort of, as the group was moving up, because you guys are no longer sort of attached to each other, sort of by the chains in between, your athleticism is coming to the forefront a little bit. Even without even trying to take the lead, you've separated a little bit from some of the rest of the pack here as the people kind of.
I look back. Is Porphyrio there?
Yeah, he's behind you at this point.
As someone who also has long hair, it would help if you tied that back, get out of your eyes a little bit.
Oh my god.
Thanks for the tip.
Anytime. Turn back around.
You can see a piece of hair gets stuck to his face, and he reluctantly sort of tucks it back. The climb continues. You get up to that little platform there. One at a time, everybody kind of coming out. And you can see they've already set out a number of wheelbarrows. There's a couple of crates that look like they can be loaded up with ore and then fitted onto the wheelbarrow there. In addition to that, the wheelbarrows have these little sort of metal underhooks that look like they allow it to go down the stairs more easily. Like they hook to each stair, like without, having to wheel your way down where you might lose some of the ore there. So they've built these sort of little special devices here. And I'd like you to give me a perception check as you approach.
Come on, buddy.
Woo!
15.
15. You start to approach the entrance to the mine here at Plover Point. And just as you're getting past this kind of first row of torches here, and get into the second row and moving sort of closer to the overhang there. Feel a little vibration beneath your feet. Come on, keep moving. Let's go.
All right. I keep moving and turn to Porfirio again. Do you feel that? Is your feet vibrating a little bit?
No.
Okay. Well, keep your feelers out.
Fine.
You're the nicest person I've talked to all day.
Clearly you haven't talked to many people today.
No. But, I mean, the fact that we're even talking, that's a step up.
Most people try to mind their business.
Would you prefer that? I can back off.
I don't mind, friends.
All right. We'll keep your feelers out. Here we go.
Give me another perception check.
Keep your feelings out.
Nat 20.
Let's go.
You've passed underneath the overhang by now. So you're getting a little swallowed up. Maybe there's light leaking in, so it's not dark, but you're getting a little swallowed up by, they've built these, wooden beams to keep, it's not just like a bored through tunnel. There's wooden beams that have been constructed to sort of make an easier passage through here. And as you look up at one of the beams, you notice that where the sort of corner is to the beam, like one of the beams has just slid down a little bit and is like almost groaning a little bit under its weight.
Officer.
Go all the way in. There's someone waiting in there already.
I don't feel safe. Do you see that falling? It's about to fall down.
Keep walking and they'll show you where to dig.
May I wait for you here to point this out?
No, keep walking and we will show you where to dig.
I will keep walking at a quarter speed and say to Porfirio, do you see that? Have you been here before?
Yes.
Has it always been as terribly made?
I never noticed.
Great.
Everything in this shithole is poorly made.
All right.
He walks ahead of you. He passes by you and goes in. Then Indira's a little bit further behind. She walks by you as you're still kind of slowing up and walking.
What was your name again?
Indira.
You see that? It's caving in a little bit. You see that up there? It's kind of looking like it's going to fall at any moment.
Everything in Little Hollow looks like it's gonna fall at any moment. And she goes in.
Yeah, like my attitude every moment I spend here. All right, here we go. No, I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay, keep walking in. As you continue to walk, you're like keeping an eye on that beam up there, and it just groans a little bit more.
Oh my god.
It's falling. So if you're gonna come, you should come quick.
As that's happening and your attention's there and you're sort of calling out, you hear something else, and I'll put this in with a nat 20. That rumbling comes back. Shit.
Oh, fuck.
And they're shaking. Okay, officer. Really?
The officer who's at the entrance to this turns here, and he's about to smack you or throw something at you, but then he has a fist raised with the club, and then he looks down and he sees some of the pebbles kind of bouncing across the rock there.
Porfirio, Indira, hold on, wait.
Shit. And he takes 2 steps back.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
I'm gonna run in.
Give me an athletics check.
I'm sorry, run where? Run out.
You gotta give it a disadvantage because you're running with chains and sort of not at your full speed here. And are you trying to get out before it falls? Is that the idea?
I'm trying to get to Porfirio before the cave-in so we can be in there.
Porfirio's in.
Oh, then I want to be in.
The cave-in is kind of at the entrance or where it looks like it's collapsing, and Porfirio and Indira have already gone further in. So it doesn't look like it's gonna fall on them. It looks like the entrance to this cave is gonna collapse.
I'm not running then.
Okay.
Oh, thank god.
Yeah.
You take a couple steps and you don't think you're gonna make it, and you just sort of turn your head as and a ton of dust kicks up and it goes completely black. You have dark vision within a certain range, but it goes totally black in here. And everyone at the base of the hill, including Fleck, including you guys, you all kind of look up. And
sorry.
No, what were you gonna say?
What do we see?
Yeah, you see the entrance door collapse, and that one guard that Illien was talking to, you watch him like almost like Superman dive, like whoa! And a bunch of rocks fall behind him. And he looks back around. And you watch as Garland kind of takes a couple steps up. What the? And something
No.
punches through the rock. Two sort of paw-like kind of limbs with long, almost like fingernails, but like they grab onto the stone and they crush it.
Fleck, Garland,
Go ahead.
we need to unlock these manacled feet right now. We need soldiers. I'm gonna start.
Garland! And he runs kind of up to Garland.
Yeah.
As that happens,
Oh my.
and this maw comes out, and what you see before you
No! I got you.
Oh shit.
is a massive boulette.
Oh, no, not a
It's Boulette Gaming. Oh,
Matt, why are you doing this to us?
oh, this is
No!
We're so little.
He's bigger than that.
bigger than that.
Comes pounding.
Illien!
And as it lands on the ground after burrowing through the rock, which it does with such ease, the whole hillside kind of shakes. You look over at that shack over on your right, like the cabin, and the windows like vibrate, and one of the windows like cracks, like it's moving the ground with that kind of force there. And I need people to roll initiative.
Oh my god, no!
Was there something you wanted to do quickly?
Well, okay. The manacles. Do you need keys to unlock them? And do I have?
No, so Fleck ran towards Garland, who has a key ring on his belt.
Then I'm starting to run after him to try to convince, because with the idea that we need to convince him to let these people.
Yeah, sure. You may do so.
Matt, do you want me to roll as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yep,
I rolled big.
20 to 25?
Not even close.
Okay, I have a few
Okay.
categories of people here. Let's do. So we have a couple people that need to be separate. Fleck's gonna be separate. Garland's gonna be separate.
I need like a.
This is a
those
good
are
old
the
moment
biggest
for-
one.
Why don't you
I'm
call out your
separated.
rolls to me, Matt, so you don't
can
lose track of them,
get
and then I'll do
information.
everybody else?
Yeah.
That's true.
Or I do everybody first.
No, let's do that. So Garland
Okay.
got a 7.
Okay.
Fleck got a 16.
Okay.
TZ, putting him on high alert. Then we're gonna group together officers, which is everyone but Garland and Fleck, basically.
Okay.
All the officers besides them was a 11.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just do all of the prisoners as a whole as well, that aren't you guys, obviously. And that is gross. 2.
Gross. Prisoners. Okay, TC, what'd you get?
6.
Okay. Annabelle?
I got a 7 as well.
Okay. Do you want to do a dex comparison or
Yeah, who was it with?
Garland?
Annabelle, I think. What's yours?
Yeah, plus 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Illien?
16.
Good job. Tied with Fleck.
I
What's
have
your dex?
13 dex.
Matt, what's Fleck's dex?
Flex dex.
Is 2.
Yeah, plus 1.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so Fleck
Oh,
and
Fleck.
Illien. And then Doxley had a solid 3.
Nice.
Let's go. It's a very solid 3.
Alright, so we got Fleck, Illien, officers, Annabelle, Garland, TC, Doxley, prisoners. So
Great.
you-
Before we dive into the combat itself, Illien, give me a perception check here
Yes.
in the dark. And you can hear as you're sort of, there's a little bit of panic, kind of, what the oh, shit. And you can hear people, a number of the prisoners that are in here with you are not people that have dark vision. There's a number of humans, a couple other people. So some people are like feeling for walls, and you can see that some of them like fade in and out of your dark vision range. Like you'll see someone kind of wander away, and then that'll fade away because it's what, 60 feet that it extends out to? Yeah, I think it's 60 feet. Yeah, so some people are sort of, what the? Someone find a torch! Someone find it! And he's sort of feeling on the walls there.
How, like, did everyone from my group is in there pretty much?
Yes, everyone in your group made it through there.
And that was a 7 for the perception.
7. I will say, one person from your group got smushed. who was in the sort of underneath the overhang when it collapsed. Not a named person that we've said, not Porphyrio and Deirdre, but someone got sort of collapsed upon. You can see them sort of lying. You don't know for sure that they're dead, but they're sort of lying. They looked like they also tried to dive kind of out of the way, and the rocks collapsed on top of them. And was there something else you were looking for? Sorry.
No. I'm gonna run over to that person and yell out for Indira was also an elf?
No, Indira was a no.
No.
Yep.
Do
They
gnomes
have dark vision.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna yell out to Indira and Porphyrio. There's someone trapped under here. Porphyrio, Indira, take care of everyone else. And I'm gonna run.
Everyone else. And you see him kind of moving through. He looks like he's feeling for the walls. He's trying to like find a torch there along the walls or something as he kind of moves through. You're running over to the person
I'm
that
gonna see if
collapsed
he's
one. Great. As you do that and you sort of reach down, give me a medicine check.
Okay. Okay, it's a 12.
12. Okay, you can tell that they are currently still alive.
Okay.
In addition to that, as you're sort of bending down, taking a look, you hear a noise and you turn, but it must be out of your dark vision range because you don't see it in particular. But you hear, and
Oh no!
All right.
and that's where we're gonna end.
Oh!
Gee.
Before we get to combat, might sort of tip us way over, so we're gonna stop right there. So there is something happening on the inside here of
Nothing on the inside.
of Plover Point. So Illien caught here with a few of his new blockmates,
Friends, as I like to say.
Oh god!
and the rest of the team hoping to come to the rescue here. TC, as you watch Fleck sort of charge toward the front there, you can see that Garland has a little bit of paralysis, sort of not like deer in headlights, but he isn't exactly sure what to do, especially unprecedented and in a place that he was here hours ago and, you know, nothing of this kind came up. You can see sort of watching a little paralyzed, not with fear again, but just surprise. And Fleck is sort of running over to him and sort of grabbing him on the shoulder, and he sort of snaps out of it and turns to Fleck. So that's the last thing that you see before we kind of dive. So Fleck seemed to at least try to get his attention there as they ran forward.
Can't we play a little longer?
I know!
We're gonna kick off
What's a
next week's
6-hour
episode for a nice boulette combat.
Oh, it's gonna be juicy boulette combat, notch and
Yeah.
soda.
I need to read.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a mop and soak up all my notes and re-ring them out
and see what
There's-
comes out on the other side.
What the hell is going on here? Because I got a lot.
We've met a lot of people, we've learned a lot of names, and hopefully those people continue to we learn more about them as we go.
Oh my god, wait.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, I feel so contrite. Yeah.
So your group, because you were next in line, you are manacled, but not to each other. So you are like loose. One of the other groups, like a group of 5 is still like chained in a line. Like they're all still together in one group, but you have been separated.
How far above is this guy? Just
Pretty far. It's a bit of a walk there. You guys head, because you were the next group, you are at this kind of landing here by the cabin.
Yeah.
And it's probably 130 feet to get up the stairs there.
And our movement is what? 20?
10 feet reduced unless you get someone to remove the ankle manacles.
And sorry, so he was the only 5 that had obviously made it in. They're the next 5 that's the closest up. And then there's 10 more.
Yes.
Which-
2 groups of 5, each chained to each other. So there's
2 groups of 5 still full on chained to each
Yes. Yep. But your group
But-
is fully separated.
other. And I'm with the group that's fully separated.
Yes.
Oh my god. So if they have pickaxes in their hands.
Yeah, they had already started, like, they were pickaxes over their shoulders. They were, like, waiting for their signal to head up next.
And conceivably near each other, so that if 1 or 2 people went around and very quickly did the manacles on their legs, at least they could like manacle hand pickaxe, run around and hit stuff.
Possibly, yeah. If that was the first sort of move there, yeah.
Fuck. Man. Oh, we don't even know where the boulette is in any lineup.
Oh,
did I roll for them?
No.
Roll for the boulette.
I should have rolled that.
Roll boulette.
It's actually good.
less
I'm
than
weak
5.
to-
Less than 5.
less than 5.
What is it? Half for dex. Okay. That is a 16.
Oh my gosh, so
Oh,
he ties with Fleck
what's
and
the-
Illien.
0 dex modifier.
Yes.
Okay, so the boulette is after Illien.
do you spell it? B-O-U?
Bullette.
Oh.
Awesome job, everybody. We're in it now. Might make some friends in this. What
Yeah.
brings you together better
Then
than
a near-death experience.
die.
Yeah,
People
than a near-death
stabbing each other in the dark.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're gonna have a problem.
No, I'm really excited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna be
okay.
And nobody can sneak up on you in the dark.
No,
Like,
and someone actually posing a threat can bind people together, unite,
yeah,
There's something there.
For a couple hours, yeah.
That's all I need for now.
Oh, Brigadier General resubscribed and Duckman BR resubscribed.
Thank you all so much. We really
very
appreciate the
much.
support
Thank
tonight.
you.
Join us next week for both an epic combat and a notch and
Yes.
soda.
Yeah, we'll have to do something special for
X-rated notch and soda.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Because it's
Oh, right,
number
right,
10.
right,
It's
right.
number 10.
I guess.
That's
It's
what
not.
you meant, right?
It's not gonna be X-rated.
No, because.
But it is X-label.
Oh, jeez. God.
Cheers to you all. Have an awesome
Cheers.
week. We'll
Time
see you
to
next
go.
week, and we'll see.
Join us in
We'll
the
see
Discord.
who makes it out of here of our lovely new assortment of friends.
I'm just gonna be going up here in the middle of the battle like.
Trying to make connections.
Yeah, in the middle of combat, like I need to keep them alive.
Oh my god.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next
Bye.
week.
See you in the Discord. Bye.
Bye.